It's time for TWiG This Week in Google. Aunt Pruitt's here, Stacey Higginbotham's here, Judge Jeff Jarvis is here. We're going to talk about Nvidia buying ARM for $40 billion. Google's big announcement, a new Pixel phone September 30th, maybe a new Nest speaker as well. And the TikTok saga gets weirder by the minute. It's all coming up next on TWiG. This Week in Google comes to you from TWiT's LastPass Studios. Securing every access point in your company doesn't have to be a challenge. LastPass unifies access and authentication to make securing your employees simple and secure, even when they're working remotely. Check out lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is TWiG, This Week in Google, episode 577, recorded Wednesday, September 16th, 2020. But can it do network segmentation? This episode of This Week in Google is brought to you by CacheFly. Literally, give your users the seamless online experience they want. Power your site or app with CacheFly's CDN and be 30% faster than the competition. Learn more at twit.cachefly.com. And by ZipRecruiter. Hiring is challenging, especially with everything else you have to consider these days. But there's one place where hiring is simple, fast, and smart. That place is ZipRecruiter. Try ZipRecruiter free at ziprecruiter.com/twig. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. It's time for TWiG This Week in Google, the show where we cover the latest news from everybody but Google. Aunt Pruitt is here. He is from Hands On Photography and Hands On Wellness. And it's great to see you, Aunt. How you doing, Aunt?
Unbelievable, Mr. Laporte. Yourself?
I feel great. I feel good. You still wearing the Clemson orange?
No, this is just another random orange T-shirt, but the Clemson is always back there on that hat behind.
It's an orange, darker orange. Because don't they start pretty soon?
We started this past weekend. Had our first victory over Wake Forest.
Very nice. Very nice. Aunt is a hardcore Clemson booster.
Yep.
Do you drive around town with a Clemson flag flapping on your car like that?
It is what it is. I can't help it. They just automatically pop up on my car every Friday.
I love it. Are there other people around here, or do you feel kind of like an outsider now?
No, the brand has grown. So when I stop at a red light or something like that, I get people honking at me, because they've never seen it, of course, but they recognize it and they think it's, go Tigers.
That's nice. That's nice. Hold that tiger. Hold that tiger. That is the only person on the panel besides me who knows that song, Mr. Jeff Jarvis, because he was around in the 20s.
Jeff wasn't around in the 20s.
Wait a minute.
Lord, y'all.
Jeez, you're supposed to stick with me, fella, against the kids.
I'm just teasing you. He's the director of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. And there's his title, and buzzmachine.com, his lower half. How are you, Jeff? What's the weather like in Lower Bedminster?
Beautiful. Nice. Sunny, a little bit of clouds, so it's nice and cool. No breeze, no smoke in the air, no water on the ground.
I know nothing
I'm feeling
about that.
blessed.
We got the first fresh air in 3 weeks here. Really nice. That's because we
fresh with air quotes around the air, right?
It's only 50. We sent all the smoke up north to Stacey Higginbotham's neck of the woods. Stacey from StaceyOnIoT.com in the great Pacific Northwest. Hi, Stacey.
Where you can smoke meat in the backyard.
I've thought about it.
Actually, it's funny because at first I thought, the air quality is too bad to run my smoker last weekend. And then I realized, well, no, that's actually just what you want, which is more smoke. Maybe a little more eucalyptus than oak, but it's okay. It's okay. So there's a lot to talk about this week. A lot to talk about. Google sent out invites for their event. It's September 30th. We'll be covering it, streaming it live. They say the Pixel 5, a new Chromecast, and a new smart speaker will be announced.
I want a Chromebook. I want a Pixel book.
I think you can pretty much count those out. They're done with that stuff.
Yeah, that's not happening, Jeff.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
That's a Wednesday, so it's going to actually be perfect. We'll do Windows Weekly earlier because it's 11 a.m. Pacific. Normally, that's when Windows Weekly is, so we'll do that earlier, and then we'll do the Pixel event, and then we'll follow it up with This Week in Google, so we can comment it. Launch night in, get it? Your couch is the best seat in the house. All about. They even said Google no longer tries to be cagey at all. It's like, we know you know
They're just
everything.
like, someone's going to leak this. We're going to stick it up on our product page. Let's just tell them what it is.
In fact, there was a teaser video of the Google Smart Speaker some months ago. Let me see if I can find that, where they showed this thing, which looks like kind of a lozenge. And so I gather it's just
That's an interesting descriptor, sir.
Yeah. Looks like a giant, what was that gum that would squirt in your mouth? It looks like that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so they actually, last summer, let me see if I could find the video. There was a teaser video. And a guy's got this speaker. He's obviously a Google employee. He's sitting and working at his desk, and his daughter comes in and says, "Dad, what's this?" Here, I'll show you. I think I could show you that. Will I get in trouble for showing the video?
Only with Karsten.
Right.
So if you look, people are dancing and hearing music, but the speaker it's so subtle. And notice there's stereo pairs, so that's good.
Yeah.
What is this for?
Wait, did you get that? What is this for? She says, "Dad, what is this for?" And she's holding the speaker.
So it's not a big tank like the previous.
Well, and there were
speakers.
rumors that Apple's going to announce a smaller version of the HomePod as well. I think maybe people are realizing. I actually love my Google Home Max, which is their big Google Home speaker, and I think it sounds great. It sounds really good. But I think they're realizing people don't have room or don't want giant speakers. So maybe these little, but can we make these little speakers sound good is the question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the market so I'm eagerly awaiting this because I'm in the market for a speaker because I have this huge open plan area that covers a lot of the downstairs area. And so I'm like, Echo Studio, or do I put these guys? And I don't know. I don't know, y'all.
I don't know.
What about your
already have
overpriced
these little miniature speakers?
No more Sonos. That's it. It's over for me and Sonos.
No more Sonos.
I'm breaking
done
up.
with Sonoses.
It's just a nightmare. They've sent me emails saying, can we help? I don't want special treatment. What happened is they have a new series of Sonos stuff, the Move, anything in the last couple of years, the new Play 5. But those are not compatible with the old Play 5s, which I have a lot. So I finally gave up because I was using 2 apps. It was 2 different Sonos networks. It's no good.
It's not cool.
It's not cool. I took all the Play 5s out. I'm going to give them to my son. He can be all old school, and I'll be new cool. Yeah. And but then I thought about it, and I said, I don't really need to buy any more Sonos because the one thing that made Sonos so great was the multi-room play. Everything does that now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't really need it.
I was looking at is it the Play Bar? Yes.
I have a Play Bar. I have the old one and the new one. And those, by the way, work on the new network. Yeah. Well, we have. I'm not going to justify my fancy lifestyle to anyone. I don't know why.
It's for the job. It's for the job.
Yeah, that's it. Actually, we do this. The studio is wired with Sonos speakers. I think at one point when we moved into the old studio, they gave us. How many did they give us, John? A few? 7? 7 Play 5s?
Oh.
Wow. One Play 3 and 6 Play 5s? 7 Play 5s and 1 Play 3. Why did they give us 1 Play 3? And they bought a brick and everything. So they're obviously fans. And I'm sorry, Sonos, but time has marched past you. Right, IoT, Stacy? Right?
It happens.
Yeah.
Oh, so wistful.
Well, I loved
It's
Sonos.
sad.
I was a fan.
I did too.
Yeah. But now you can do it with anything.
Oh, well.
Yeah. In fact, I looked at because I thought, well, I also took out 2 of the Sonos Connects. Those are old school. That's what I would connect Sonos to my stereo, right? So I have a nice stereo. I want to use those speakers. They're better than the Sonos speakers. So you get a little box. And I priced the new box. It's like $300, $400. It's like, no, I'm not going to buy that. I already have an Apple TV. I can play through that. I could play through the Google, an Echo Dot. All of these will play fine, and they'll do multi-room sync. So I think it's time to move on. It is good, though. And we've talked about this before. Separate the speaker from the smarts. That's what happened with Sonos. Is they couldn't keep up. The old stuff didn't have enough oomph.
Although I will say this, people are like, "Oh, you've got to separate the speaker from the smarts because speakers are expensive." As I discovered with the Hue updates, you still have to buy like a $60 Hue hub, for example.
Right.
And so it's not like people are like, "Oh, I don't have to replace all my light bulbs." No, they're like, "Oh crap, now I got to spend $60 on a new hub just so my light bulbs work."
We should mention
this whole smart things.
Stacy right now is on a hamster-run internet service.
Steam powered.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so bad.
Well, it's
okay.
fine.
You still glow.
She's getting municipal internet fiber in the next couple of weeks, which is kind of cool.
It'll be super cool, but until then, I'm stuck with my Barbara Walters, pack house filter.
It's more Max Headroom than Barbara Walters, but okay, we'll take it. Google
with Google not necessarily talking about Pixel books, are Chromebooks altogether just going bye-bye? I mean, I know there's been a couple different stories about.
Wash your mouth out, young man. Wash your mouth out.
Chromebooks are bigger than ever.
Don't even breathe such a thought.
Chromebooks are bigger than ever. Google's just for some reason not making them anymore. Why not?
The problem is, because I think they think the market's taken over, or whoever was the person there, who loved them doesn't love them as much. I don't know. My problem is that every time that one comes out, and I read Kevin Toffel religiously on this, and I'll see a machine and think, oh, maybe, and then it says fan, and I say, Oh,
you don't want a fan?
I'm not doing a fan. I don't want a fan. No, I do not. Nope.
It just seems like this is prime time to offer a device that's affordable, especially with a lot of people that have to do education at home.
Well, that's right.
May not have a device. Google could easily put out something really inexpensive that's just good enough for,
And you're not getting my drift here. You see, I'm it's like Leo and the lifestyle. This is my lifestyle.
He wants
I want
high
the
end.
expensive.
Yeah.
I want the expensive Chromebooks. I'm not weird.
Yeah.
But you were the only person to buy that expensive Pixel books. You and like 4 other people.
Well, that makes it quite exclusive, sir.
I might have one.
Right, that's one way to look at it.
I might have one too. I like them. I actually have owned all of Google's Pixel books except the most recent, the Go, the one with the nubbies. No, I didn't. The nubbies on the bottom. So one of the issues with Chromebooks that is about to be solved is kind of interesting. Chromebooks, really, this is true of any computer, have a life cycle. At the end of the life, you stop getting updates. Now, I have to say, if you get a Chromebook these days, it's usually an 8-year cycle. That's not bad. I mean, 8 years for a Chromebook that you paid $500 or $400 or $300 for is not bad at all. But there is...
You're going to explain LaCrOS to me?
Yes, that's what we're about to talk about.
Good. That's why I put that in there. I need you to explain this to me. I don't get it.
LaCrOS. And this is a solution that decouples the browser from ChromeOS. So ChromeOS won't get updated. But why not make sure that Chrome continues? Because Chrome is going to continue to get updated. Why not keep Chrome updated? So Google apparently is developing something that's Linux and Chrome OS, LaCrosse. It's an architecture project to decouple the Chrome browser from the Chrome OS window manager and system UI. The UI won't get updated, but why can't Chrome? So there's a document. I gather it's kind of part of the Chromium project. So it's more, yes, it's Googlers working on it, but it's more an open source project than it is a Google-sponsored project. LaCrosse can be imagined, they say, and this will resonate for some Linux users, as Linux Chrome with more Wayland support. Wayland is the a graphics compositor underneath the Windows manager. So
is a compositor like a compiler?
No. It's basically the graphics primitives, the software that draws the screen.
Oh, okay.
It's for the GUI.
Sorry, I was like,
it's for the GUI. So Wayland's a more modern. You remember X Windows, right? It's
Xorg. Yeah, the last thing I remember touching.
It's a more modern X window or Xorg. So it's going to support Wayland. ChromeOS has a Wayland server implementation called Exosphere. It's used to run Android apps, and it's used by Crostini. I wish Kevin were here because he'd probably be able to explain this better than I can.
Quick, get him on the horn.
But Exosphere will be the Wayland server. And so, in other words, it's decoupling the browser from the UI and the operating system. And
in every Chromebook or in old Chromebooks?
Well, you wouldn't want to do this in every Chromebook, probably. The idea is if your Chromebook goes out of service, then you can extend the life of it. Although Kevin writes, I don't think it's to extend the life of older Chromebooks, as others have suggested.
He was disagreeing with that.
Yeah, he says, I'm not sure I agree with him. He says, I'd like to be wrong on that. Believe me, it doesn't make sense now since all Chromebooks get approximately 8 years of software update to support. But a lot of older Chromebooks are almost gone. It wasn't that long for a while. It makes even less sense when you think about older Chromebooks currently out of their software support window. How would they get the required update to break out of the Chrome browser from Chrome OS? I think it's mainly to help Google better manage work on the Chrome browser and get browser updates faster to Chromebooks by making the platform more modular. And that certainly would be a benefit. If you don't, because right now with Chrome OS, you update the whole thing, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
In order to get a new browser, you have to update the whole thing.
Yeah. Because it's so simple. It's so easy.
Kevin says that's why Chrome OS updates are lagging 2 or 3 weeks behind Chrome updates, because they update the browser and then they have to, get all the platform updated. So that makes sense. It's kind of what Google did with Android. Remember, that by decoupling updates, you make it possible to do incremental updates. So he might know more. I gather this.
Why else would you do it? I mean, it's
right. No, those are two. Well, let's put it this way: both reasons are reasonable. Maybe they are both.
Yeah.
Why they're doing it. Yeah. Okay. So enough of that.
Thank you for that. I needed that. Was my request.
LaCrOS.
You did well.
LaCrOS.
Yeah, I was when I saw that I was like,
So, well,
let's see. Do we want to talk about the new meeting stuff, which looks cool? By the way, you know what I think my issue is?
What?
Skype has been just sucking wind for me, but like Meet, Zoom, all the other platforms are great. So I think part of it might just be a Skype issue.
Microsoft sabotaging you
in their own backyard.
Why is it?
I don't know, because everybody else we work with, look at this beautiful picture of Aunt Pruitt.
Well, that's because you're Aunt Pruitt.
Skype.
Well, that's because it's Aunt Pruitt. I mean, if you were Skype, would you mess with Ant? No.
No.
You would not.
Stacey's right. I get the best picture on Zoom. I get the next best on Skype, and I get the worst on Meet. Oddly, other people have no problem with Meet.
Huh.
I don't know why it works that way.
Yeah.
John,
Kevin and I
maybe we should try Zoom.
I'm
not against it. Karsten says, let's do it. So we could try Zoom.
Well, if Karsten says, then that's it.
Can we get an individual picture?
The problem is the
Zoom?
TriCaster, right?
That's the problem, I think.
No. Because the Skype.
Well, actually, you can, because you can embed it in. I did a conference in Buenos Aires this morning, and they embedded it differently. Yeah, you can do stuff with it.
So Zoom would run just like Skype does on our machines they run on little separate machines, and then those are patched into the TriCaster as an input. So the TriCaster doesn't care or know. So any software could run.
Or Stacey, for that matter, I always found IpDiddle to be more reliable when I was in bad circumstances in hotels.
Well, we tried IpDiddle. We didn't like IpDiddle.
I think we tried that once, and that was not as much fun.
I worked fine for me because I just wasn't as complaining as you guys.
We'll see when we have fiber, and frankly, I think I look better with my pandemic hair, and you just can't see my cool earrings, which I never wear.
So Google is offering now a special Meet package, but this is for business.
This is expensive.
Yeah.
But it's neat. And part of this is, what the heck is Google doing with their hardware strategy around enterprises? And it just, because they had, remember their big whiteboard expensive thing?
Yes.
Jamboard.
And so I'm looking at this, I'm looking at, and I'm like, what is Google doing? So I was just curious, because I thought maybe y'all would have some input.
They want to do, what Microsoft's doing with Teams. They want to be part of the enterprise.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is secure, right? That's the first word in the description, this secure video meetings for teams and businesses. So that's an issue. And I think it's always been a concern.
But not for Teams.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Microsoft
Lowercase t in Teams. But Zoom, you remember there's security issues that now I think Zoom's probably solved most of those, but there's still
Alex Stamos on the case. Yeah.
There's still a lingering doubt about it. So, by the way, you can use Skype with Meet, but that's another matter. There's a way to get those two together. So, yeah. But this is really aimed at a business because you have to buy a considerable amount of hardware for this. This is like
have you heard anything?
WebEx conference room or something like that. The Cisco conference room that people buy.
It's like your old Polycom.
Polycom, exactly.
Yeah, right. What's the kit that the TV networks are giving to home correspondents and home?
I see a lot of WebEx, but I think that's just because Cisco's paying for that, right? Because there's a little ad on a little bug on all that. Yeah, you see Cisco WebEx.
What kind of hardware do you think?
I remember Oprah had a Skype kit because Oprah was one of the first on mainstream to do Skype calls, and I remember seeing it was a kind of a Pelican case, one of those hard shell cases, and here it is. This is 10 years ago.
Yeah,
the Oprah Skype kit arrives. And this is it's in a big old Pelican case. It's got a special microphone. It's got the camera. I don't know why, frankly, CNN isn't doing this. I know they're not because I still see terrible cameras. I see people using their iPhone headphones. I mean,
I know. The other thing that drives me crazy is they lose audio from somebody.
All the time.
They should have a phone backup.
Yeah, all the time they lose audio.
Just have the phone line open and have them call, and that would be easy.
Yeah. So this is
so when I got
this is the Oprah kit. So this was somebody who was going to be on Oprah. They have picture instructions. You see, there's an Ethernet cable. Hint, hint.
Look at that.
They even send you a ThinkPad.
Is that a ThinkPad?
That's a ThinkPad. They send you everything.
I just got one of these to do a pre-recorded speech for an event, and my Pelican case had a MacBook Pro. It had actually the Logitech, the camera I actually currently have, the C whatever.
920.
And then it had, two of the key lights. So the Elgato.
Oh, nice.
It's
not
got a
ring
shotgun
lights,
microphone. It looks like a Rode. So what's interesting about I don't know why and you had to send it back, right? After you were done, Stacey?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they're not losing any money. There's maybe some wear and tear and some risk to it, but I think I don't understand why the network.
There's some contributors who are on constantly, and I'm dreading the day when they think that they have to pull everybody back into the studio. It's great to get more voices on the spur of the moment in their habitat. It's easier for them. It's more variety of people. And you tweeted something to me. What?
Stacey's agreeing.
Oh, I was just because they used to ask for us, like, well, no, when I was at GigaOM, they used to ask for us to come on shows, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I've got to write like 2,000 words a day just to keep up with I can't take your car service to, Austin, waste 4 hours getting, 2 hours in traffic getting there, but people could always do it, like. Certain people like Matthew Ingram could always do it because he only had to write 2 stories a day. And the rest of us were staying.
She said bitterly.
Just a little salty.
I do think it's in the network's interests to fix this and make it work because you're right. They should do this from now on. This is the new normal.
It makes perfect sense.
I don't think people mind it.
No.
There must be something like right now, MSNBC's on my TV. Eddie Glaude Jr., who's brilliant, and Princeton is on. His picture quality is much better than it used to be.
They
So
must be
have set up some
slowly
kind of
helping
kit.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
They're catching up with us. It's so funny.
I mean, I saw Casey Hunt, but she's an anchor. She had a full teleprompter and monitor screen, a 3-fer in front of her. The picture that she had at home.
The few times I see something on television that's live or whatever, they actually look a lot better than they did a couple months ago.
Yeah, you're right, Ed. But Ed, you tweeted something to me the other day because I was getting eager to try my phone, and then you said,
"Oh
work,
yeah."
Right? So tell me about that, will you?
Remember, last week my pick of the week was Filament Pro. Their app allowed for clean HDMI out, and I wanted to try it out with the Pixel 4. Well, apparently Google disabled that feature in the kernel for the Pixel 4. So you can do it on a Samsung device and you can do it on an iPhone, but if you have a Pixel,
of any generation Pixel.
That's my understanding.
Wow.
And I sent one of those support chats to them and tried to say, hey, look, I got this feature. Why can't I use it? This is a $1,200 phone. And it's like, yeah, no, can't do it. It's not available.
Google people, are you watching? Huh?
Come on, Google.
Watching? Are we your friends? Come on.
There's a new Twitter trend, Zoom call, work from home versus reality, that I quite enjoy. I'm trying to find the one that I saw the other day. It looked like she was on a newscast. She had a nice suit, beautiful background. Room rater
yes,
would have
I know
given
that
her
one.
9 out of 10. And then she, to her credit, she's then posted next to it a picture from the side view. She's not wearing any pants. There's kids' toys all over the floor. That was the best. I want to see more of that.
Absolutely the best.
Yeah.
And the laptop was on a chair with 2 books on top of it, on top of a table.
You would never know any of this. But see, those of us who work in the biz, and knows this, know that it's all about framing.
That's right.
You got to know what to show.
Oh, you don't want to see that.
Yeah, see,
you don't want to see that.
That's very honest of you.
You don't want to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to see
this. Yeah. Oh, I wish I could find.
No. Oh, yeah.
Chat room, find that.
Go to Jeff Kossoff. No, hold on. Jeff Kossoff responded. Shit. Oh, yeah, I found it. Gretchen TG.
Gretchen TG.
Gretch and TG. She's a PhD in Center for Science and Democracy.
Here it is. Found it. Gretchen Goldman. This is such a great. So here she is. She's on CNN. Nice shot.
I'd say an 8 out of 10 on room rate.
Yeah, you got some symmetric photos.
Plant, but it's good. It's good.
Then here's the reality.
Outstanding.
She's on a chair on a table. She's wearing sandals and shorts. The kids' toys are all over the place.
Look at her using that beautifully diffused light from that window.
And she's smart. She's sitting in a bay window, right? Yeah. Yeah, she's using. She doesn't have special lights.
Jay Kossoff.
Isn't that great? That's just great. I love that. Jay Kossoff.
Yeah, that's Jeff Kossoff, the expert in Section 230.
JCOSF.
No, Joe. JKOSSEFF. You never had Jeff on? You should.
I know. We should get him on.
He wrote the 26 Words of Creative Internet. He is the expert.
Oh, yeah. I love that book.
He's brilliant.
And he has a tweet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I showed this one. Yeah. So here he is again on. I hope this is a new trend. I'd like to see everybody show the primary colored plastic that adorns their floors. I actually liked Gretchen's better because you got to see the full shot, which is great. Yeah. It
was gutsy to do.
It was gutsy. But, everybody identifies with it now. I don't know if everybody does.
I'm wearing pants.
Good for you. I don't know if everybody does.
But there's still pants.
Because but I think a lot of people are doing Zoom calls. Kids are doing Zoom in school, and a lot of parents are doing Zoom calls for work. So I think a lot of people identify with it. So the latest on TikTok.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
Let me take a break, and then that's not a great tease. People go, "Oh, good, thank God, I could skip the TikTok."
No, it's.
After that, can we talk about ARM? Do we want to talk about ARM?
Oh, yeah. So Sunday, Sunday, which normally there's never breaking news during TWiT, we had two big stories break. The TikTok story and the Nvidia ARM story. So I am very curious what you have to say about that, Stacy. So that is a good tease. We will get Stacy's chip expertise in just a second. Our show today literally brought to you by CacheFly. CacheFly is our CDN, our content delivery network, and they have been doing it since 1999. We've been using them. It was early on, and I was scrambling to get enough bandwidth to serve the podcast. It's not an easy thing to do. It was on a website, but that was slow, and we tried BitTorrent, and that was weird, and we had to beg people to seed our content and stuff. Matt Levine of CacheFly came to me and said, Leo, let me help. And he did, and we've been doing it ever since, more than a decade. CacheFly is the best way to get your content, whether it's a podcast, a game, an app, a website, to your end users faster. Like, the way it works, and the name kind of tells you, is your content is cached on servers all over the world. In fact, they've been expanding. Look at all those dots on the map. They've been expanding their points of presence. They just added 6 new points of presence in South America. They're serving now 10 times the amount of traffic in Latin America over the last year. They've not only maintained but drastically improved their performance in that region while taking on a much higher traffic load. So it doesn't matter where your end users are. North America, Latin America, the Caribbean, Europe, the Middle East, Asia Pacific. CacheFly's there, and your customers will get their content directly from the server nearest them, even in hard-to-reach regions. That gives you consistency and performance, not just in the Americas, but everywhere. In fact, because of the reliable throughput and scalability, they're up to 5 times faster than other CDNs. Now they've solved another problem because, of course, you create the content, you've got to get it to CacheFly. And anytime you get a cache miss, somebody goes to a server where the content isn't there, the server has to go to your origin, download it. That can add up to a lot of money if you're on Amazon S3 or some other source. We're on S3. So CacheFly's created something called SOS. Yes, wave the white flag because there is a solution. CacheFly's storage optimization system. What it is, it's actually dedicated storage space just for you on CacheFly. On CacheFly. So you'll save thousands a month by shielding your origin. They can guarantee no cache misses. Your download speeds will be dramatically improved. Data transfer out fees will be significantly reduced. Pretty much you'll load it onto CacheFly once, and that's that. With CacheFly's SOS, you get a 100% cache hit ratio. That means happy customers. That means happy accounting. And you decide how much storage you need, and they will help you and take care of the rest. SOS is backed by CacheFly's 100% uptime SLA guarantee and its industry-leading global performance. We could not be happier. We are so glad with CacheFly. CacheFly is also a great corporate citizen. Matt and the team are just fantastic. They're partnering with World Central Kitchen. They've donated over $50,000 with a goal of serving over 300,000 warm meals to those who are struggling during this tough time. CacheFly's the best. With standard, powerful throughput, low latency, high cache hit ratio, and 100% uptime SLA, CacheFly has got to be your perfect CDN. And with CacheFly's SOS, you'll even save. Just for TWiT listeners, CacheFly is giving away a complimentary detailed analysis of your current CDN bill and usage trends. See if you're overpaying 20% or more for CDNs that aren't nearly as good. CacheFly. Go to twit.cachefly.com. And thank you, CacheFly, for keeping our podcasts going. twit.cachefly.com. So, let's start with Nvidia and ARM because that was an interesting story. Now, remember that SoftBank bought ARM for $32 billion. What was it, 4 years ago? Not too long ago.
16.
And as we mentioned before, SoftBank running into a little fiscal difficulty. Their investment fund, well, they invested in Uber and WeWork. Need I say more? So, trying to scare up a little cash. Now, I was way out of line. I predicted, they're going to get $60 billion for ARM.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, well, I wasn't too far off.
Much.
40 billion they got.
I know.
That's a nice $8 billion turnaround in 4 years.
Given where they are now.
Yeah.
25% over 6 years. Annualized rate of return on that's only like 0.25. So
that's pretty good. I'd like to get that in my
100%
portfolio.
These days, yeah.
I'd sell TWiG in a heartbeat.
Considering after we work, anything is important.
Yeah, anything looks good. So, but the real concern and question is, of course, for all of us. I mean, ARM is a very important architecture. As you all know, ARM is a chip designer. They don't make chips. They license their architecture to a lot of people, Qualcomm, Apple, Samsung, and on and on and on. So their designs are really important to the mobile world, increasingly important to server world and desktop world, thanks to Apple. And I guess Microsoft Windows on ARM.
Do you see this as a way of Nvidia saying, you know what, Apple, we're still going to get your coin?
Oh, no. Actually, I think it's the server play that's more interesting than Nvidia, but I should let our chip expert weigh in on that. Why would Nvidia want ARM for $40 billion?
So I wrote about this. I really focused on the data center because anytime NVIDIA, a GPU, there's got to be an x86 or an ARM computer attached to it. And so what happens is, you know, I'm stuck next to Intel everywhere. In the data center, there's increasing focus on, price performance, machine learning, those kind of workloads. So having access to the ARM instruction set is going to be increasingly important to them in the data center. And no one's really focused on this. And even I wasn't too much attention to it until I started looking at the numbers. But NVIDIA, this deal also gets them into the car. NVIDIA got kicked out of Tesla, remember? But NVIDIA is in the cars, have lots of ARM computers, and there are lots of sensors. You need an operating system to manage your car, and it can't all be dependent on the cloud. So this puts NVIDIA really in an excellent spot there. So I'm going to just put that in there because I wasn't really thinking about it. And so, and for those of y'all who may not realize it, ARM is the application processor inside pretty much every single phone out there. There may be one or two like old school, like Intel made a crappy.
Intel wanted to get in that mobile market. They made these scale chips and they were a flop. They eventually sold it off. So ARM owns mobile, really. And so
ARM owns mobile and go on.
No, I was just going to reinforce your point. If you can own mobile and you can own the data centers, you're going to sell the lion's share of chips. You don't even care about desktop computing. That's a small fraction of the overall computing market.
Yeah, and ARM is making headroads there. Now, I will say, the data still belongs to Intel x86. I don't see that. I mean, ARM has been working on this 10 years. First ARM-based server came out in like 2011. So, and we're only now, like in 2018, maybe it was 2019, that Amazon introduced the Graviton computing instance based on ARM. So that's been like a 10-year journey to get it to there. But I think NVIDIA recognized that they have to own an instruction set going forward. And you see this, think about in the last 10, maybe even 12 years, you saw Amazon, Google, Apple, all of them take an architecture license and start developing their own chips. NVIDIA looks at that, and that's a real problem it's a problem for Intel, it's a problem for NVIDIA. So owning ARM really keeps them in the loop there. Okay, that's it.
Yeah. Now there's some antitrust issues. Regulators have to approve it. There's some real concern in the UK because ARM is a UK company. NVIDIA has said we're not going to move ARM out of the UK. And for people like Apple, we are going to, of course, honor all of ARM's existing licenses and continue those. Of course they will. That's why they bought it. They don't want fewer. They don't want less business.
So I think the question becomes, I don't think ARM is going to shut down licenses, like the big instruction set CPU licenses, right? So you'll always be able to get that from ARM, even if it's owned by NVIDIA. What I am curious about is, are they going to continue building the software that runs around that? So things like getting, bus from the compute to memory. They make actually lots of software to make
I didn't realize
it
that.
easier to slot your ARM processor into your existing SoC, right? So they may like, we don't really care so much about that. And so then companies that rely on that, most companies, the more advanced you are, the less likely you're going to rely on that. Yeah. So, and then the other thing, because I'm an IoT person, I have to do it. ARM has spent like $1 billion buying an IoT services business with like Treasure Data, with Pelion, with some other acquisitions in the last few years. I don't know what happens with that. They were going to spin that out to SoftBank. Then they're like, no, we're not going to spin it out. And now it looks like, what will NVIDIA do with that?
Yeah.
So the regulatory question, what are you going to do with the $1 billion you spent on building an IT services business that's kind of just so-so? And then what are you going to do with... Got it, because my Skype is beeping. Is that y'all?
You're on actually on Zoom right now.
I know. That's why I was like, what's happening?
Why is my...
Why is Skype calling me?
Ant froze now. Oh, my God. It's like herding cats. So, by the way, I just want to report, I didn't realize this, but they quickly switched you. Our engineering team is top-notch. And they switched you over to Zoom, and the picture is much better. The audio...
I'm telling you, Zoom is better.
No, it's
audio not so good.
The audio is terrible. Don't you hear all the hesitation and the freezing? Don't you see all the freezing? And it's thinner.
Oh. So, okay, well, then we can swap me back.
No, it's... I feel like... The
audio is what he cares about.
Yeah, all I care about really is the audio. 90% of our audience listens. And
well, that's what I'm saying. So do you want me to go back to Skype?
No, we can, I know, it's not that much different.
I don't care.
The picture is better.
Picture is way
What's
better.
happening is Zoom is favoring the image over the audio. And that makes sense if you're doing, I guess it makes sense if you're doing a business meeting, but it doesn't make sense at all for a podcast. We keep, I've wanted to switch off Skype for 10 years. We try everything that comes out. For some reason, there's just something about Skype and Skype audio. We're having more and more problems than we've ever had with Skype. So I don't know what the solution is. Is there a setting anywhere on Zoom where you can say, I want better audio? I don't know.
Let me see.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I don't have automatically adjust microphone volume. Pick a name.
Turn off any automatic stuff for sure.
I did. I turned off automatic.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's all right. Let's see here. There's lots of settings.
Oh, there is a whole advanced thing. Suppress persistent background noise. That's on. I could turn that to disable.
Don't mess with that. Yeah, disable all that. Yeah.
Oh wait, you want it on disabled?
No processing whatsoever. We do all of that.
Okay.
So do not suppress background noise. That's right.
Okay. Escalation is either auto or aggressive, so I'm just going to have it on auto.
It's funny. I was listening to older audio from 10, 15 years ago, and we put up with terrible audio. Skype's audio was not that good. Maybe it was also because high bandwidth wasn't that prevalent, but the audio quality's gotten better and better. But I don't know.
Now if I can click to show, it says show in meeting option to enable original sound from microphone. So what is that?
I don't know.
Never seen that.
I don't want derivative sound. Yes, somebody said original sound.
Oh, it says turn off original sound. So I'm going to do that and tell me.
Well, go ahead and turn it off. I don't know what you're going to get now.
Okay, now what do I sound like? Better?
Porky Pig.
Sound 1, sound 2.
No, that's fine. Leave it.
Sound 1?
Leave it.
Yeah, I think sounds good to me.
Original sound. Do we want it or not? 1 was better. John has perfect eyesight. What's happening when you get a stutter or hesitation like that? It's because packets are being dropped and it can't reassemble them.
The video.
I don't know why I crashed.
But
I don't know why you crashed. You got lots of bandwidth. I wish we could get Google Fiber here. Did you see this? Google Fiber is now going to offer 2 gigabit service. I wonder if 2 gigabit really is worth it.
2 gig down, 1 gig up.
That's awesome. That'll be $100 a month. By the way, with that, you will also get hardware, a Wi-Fi 6 router and mesh extender to take advantage of the new speeds. I presume it'll be a Google device. So the problem is, who can get Google Fiber? Well, it'll kick off in Nashville, Tennessee, and Huntsville, Alabama, with full rollout in the 2 cities planned for later this year. It's 19 cities in the U.S., not here, alas.
So in other words, we can forget about this after the show is over, right?
Yes. Yes.
Don't have any dreams about it.
It's kind of, honestly, it's amazing that for 15 years we've been able to do a podcast network in the middle of nowhere, Petaluma, California, and get great hosts from all over the country, all over the world to be on the show, thanks to Skype. That's amazing technology. And it's as you pointed out, now because of COVID, we're seeing every news network use it, every TV show. A lot of TV shows are doing their shows on Zoom now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I've got to find out what year it was when I did this, but upstairs in this house, looking like something on a chair with books on it, MSNBC in a snowstorm did it years and years and years ago. And there was the opportunity to do this for a long time. And only COVID did they realize,
they're always going to opt for what they consider a higher quality. God, I remember
that's exactly what they told me.
Yeah.
Exactly what they told me.
I remember going into flash cam sets, having to drive down to San Francisco to do CNN on a flash cam set.
Yeah.
And those are satellite uplinks, and they don't have this hesitation. They don't have dropout audio. They don't have weird audio. So I understand that. They consider themselves mission critical. And they also say money is not an object because it's satellite time's expensive. This is a lot cheaper.
And they can control what you look like too.
Right. So the lighting, the camera.
Don't underestimate
the
value of the makeup. Spends 30 minutes on your face.
Oh, they never gave me a makeup artist.
Oh, God. I always had a makeup person.
Really?
Sometimes they know when it's a lost cause, Mr. Laporte.
Oh, is that it? They took one look at me and said, I'm taking the day off.
Yeah.
Well, I
always found it confusing because they'd spend 30 minutes on makeup and I'd walk away looking, yes, better, still almost exactly the same. I'd figured like I'd come looking like fancy, but I never did.
Well, they don't want to make
you're right about Zoom. You're right about Zoom.
You see the hesitation and all that?
Yeah. I got it.
Okay, I'll go back to Skype.
Go back to Skype.
No, it's not about you. It's about the interesting.
You're already there. Just leave it.
Try up diddle.
Because Skype had other issues. The low res picture was terrible. Audio is the most
important part. But audio is the most important part. Who cares?
All right.
Y'all drinks.
Yeah, the dropout is making me kind of.
It was very impressive. Yeah. John made the switch like that.
I know. He's good.
That was very impressive.
Good.
Isn't he good?
Yeah, he is.
Ant's been coming in to pick up some tips from John, and I think
he makes it look so easy.
Doing some of the engineering on.
Have I ever asked can I ask what's the derivation of Jammer B?
What is the derivation of Jammer B? That's his chat room handle.
I will tell.
Okay.
A long time ago, I was in a band. I was the engineer, road manager for a band, and the keyboard player came up with a T-shirt one day that said, "Jam or be slammed." So the next week, I came with a T-shirt that said, "Jammer B, Slamina."
Oh, because his last name's Slanina. Jam or B Slanina.
So,
Mr. John, you
Jam
get cooler
or
and cooler every time I talk to you.
The B stands for bacon. Right?
Slanina.
Slanina. What language is that, bacon?
Czech.
It's bacon and Czech.
While we got you on the mic there, John, did you do the cacio e pepe?
I have. I did it before. I had it at home before we brought it into the studio.
He said it's just spaghetti.
It's just peppery. It wasn't as exciting to me as it was for you. It was good, but nothing to write home about.
It's the only thing I have to look forward to on Wednesdays. After I suffer through the show, I get my cacio e pepe.
Oh, that's funny.
Wait, don't you have heart problems? You should not be eating that once a week, man.
I know. The Parmesan is a little lower fat.
Maybe we should try this Google AI powered meeting hardware. Maybe.
Yeah, that'll be just buy a $3,000 rig. Well,
is that how much it is?
Okay.
Yeah, one was over 3,000, depending on the packaging.
Yeah, what does that include, Ant? Do you remember? Does it include like the
additional microphones?
Screen, the camera?
Is that what this box is? Is it an array mic?
Mm-hmm.
And high-end camera. And then, that's the array mic, the puck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get I guess they figured out what to do with their Nexus 7 tablets.
I looked at, when we was looking at this earlier, it made me wonder, why would an enterprise go this route versus the likes of, say, a Cisco?
Yeah, you're just you're gonna go with the big guys.
Oh no, because it's integrated into your G Suite.
Oh, if you're already,
that would be the only reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and actually,
and there it is. Boom, done.
I did want to ask Stacy this, because what's the AI for? They're using the Coral M.2 accelerator modules with the company's Edge TPUs. Why?
Maybe background noise reduction?
Oh, or picture improvement.
Or following you where you move, or knowing who's speaking in the room. That may be it.
Yeah.
Multiple speakers in the room.
Or maybe they'll do something cool like Microsoft 2 years ago and still have yet to introduce, which is like being able to recognize the speakers, generate notes, and generate action items. Teams actually, I think, oh no, it's not Teams, it's another software program. So eventually that's going to happen, but I don't know if that's happening today. Because that would be bad. Oh, I can't say that word. It would be awesome.
I want
this is why I asked before about the kit that's being sent to the CNN and MSNBC.
Well, this would be a good one to send out.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody's got to productize that, because it's not just for offices. Every time you're doing Pete Dominic, podcaster who I like a lot, he has to do an award show for somebody. He's the MC of of a virtual award show, right? So he needs a shtick, and people are going to hire people like that. They're going to hire comedians. They're going to do all kinds of stuff.
So I think we should use Microsoft Teams, and then you guys could be sitting in the audience.
I hate Teams. I only use Teams under the greatest duress, because every time I have to interact with it, Microsoft screws up my login and password again, and I freaking hate it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
One great thing about Zoom, I've done a couple conferences lately where, because I'm an idiot and only speak 1.1 languages, I'm being translated. The translate function with the translator is amazing in Zoom. Amazing.
So is it translating your audio or just the text?
No. It's a human being.
Oh, they have humans. Oh, they have simultaneous human translation.
Yeah, they just change the channels, and it works really well.
Oh, that's neat.
Nice.
Oh, that's neat.
You hear the original just down barely, or you can turn it all the way off. The translator knows and comes back in and out. It's well done.
So today, Facebook had an Oculus event, and they announced they're going to be the first mover when it comes to smart glasses. Well, if you don't consider Google Glass. These look about as dorky as Google Glass. They'll come out next year. They'll be Ray-Bans. They're doing the deal with Luxottica.
Wait a minute. That doesn't look...
Because that's the only glasses venue ever.
There's really no choice. Yeah, it's that or Oliver Peoples.
That looks like the Amazon frames. Echo frames.
It is.
Right? Yeah, it does.
Except,
you're right. I was trying to think of that. Yes.
Well, that's because all frames that do this are going to have big temples for battery and speakers. Now, this one, unlike the Amazon, has a camera. See their camera, little eyeball there.
I'm getting PTSD looking at this.
It really does kind of feel like Google Glass a little bit. I'm sure it'll have the same issues. Here's a close-up of it. It's very nerdy, big black rimmed glasses.
Very heavy.
You know, they may have done this with Ray-Ban, but this is no Jack Nicholson glasses here. These are not.
We're getting closer and closer to Daniel Suarez, and I like it.
Yes, that was the vision in his book, Demon and Freedom. I love that idea, and Amy Webb's talked about that. A lot of people, I think quite reasonably, think that this is the future of wearables.
I'd be all in for it. If we could get an HUD the way he described in the books, I'd be all for it.
I would too. They also announced Oculus Quest 2. Now, here's the drawback. Both of these products come from Facebook, and they've announced you will have to have a Facebook account in order to use.
Oh, relax. It's fine.
I am not making. No, they're not selling me one. I want one. I'm not doing it.
I don't.
Relax.
I wouldn't do it either. By the way, Leo, Luxottica does own Oliver Peoples.
Oh, crap. Damn it. I thought that was
Sorry.
the last good glasses company.
Warby Parker.
They
Costco.
own Warby Parker?
They bought them all.
No. Those are the only independent.
Yeah,
ones.
Warby's independent.
Otherwise, they bought them all.
Do they own, oh man, how about IC exclamation mark in Berlin? That's not owned by Luxottica. That's who makes my glasses.
I see.
Berlin.
I don't.
No, they're not owned by Luxottica. That's why I buy them.
Today.
Yeah, today.
You don't wear glasses.
That is, well, no, but if I did, I'd wear these. I do wear glasses. I just don't wear them on the air.
When you're being vain.
My IC glasses, which I really like, are made out of stainless steel, spring steel sheet metal. And the hinges are weird. They don't have any screws in them because screws always fall out of my glasses. They're just like some sort of weird spring steel metal. I just love these. I've never broken them. They're really good. And they're from Germany. So you know they're made beautifully.
Engineered.
And they are not owned by Luxottica, which is a shameful story, by the way. They basically, that's why glasses frames suddenly cost so much money.
Yep.
They're just pieces of plastic, unless they're spring steel. Facebook.
But this Quest 2.
So, yeah, the Quest 2. Let's talk about it. You're a VR guy, right, Ant?
Sorry, I was not trying to digress too much.
That's Mr. Howell. He's the VR guy. I like it to a certain extent. Yeah. It's gotten so much better the last couple of years as far as the tracking and stuff. Because I suffer from vertigo really bad.
You can't play that. That'll make you sick.
But it's way better now. Now I like it.
The nice thing about the Quest, and I have the Quest 1, but I guess I won't get the Quest 2 because I don't have a Facebook account, is it's inexpensive and it's not wired. So it's all done in the visor. These run on, by the way, Qualcomm Snapdragons, Stacy. So another place ARM is dominant.
ARM
crushing it.
So these are less expensive, $299. They for the 64 gig version, if you want a lot more storage, it's $399 for 256. They have a Snapdragon XR2, 6 gigs of RAM. That's a 50% increase. The main thing, though, I think, is as exactly as you said, is the refresh rate on the screens and the resolution. They're 1832 by 1920 per eye, and they're 72 hertz fast switching LCDs. So I think these would be even better for you, Ant.
Yeah.
But I'm not, honestly, if I were all in on VR, I'd get them anyway, but I'm not. So
the other news, though, is the fact that they're saying, you know what, we're done with the wired version altogether.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah. It kind of irks me because I put in, that was a Kickstarter, the original Oculus Rift, which I put in for. I got my Kickstarter edition. Mm-hmm. And then they sold to Facebook, which really made me mad. I did get the new version for free because I had done the Kickstarter. Mm-hmm. But the wire is definitely a non-starter. We have a Vive, which is also wired, but we've got the wireless attachment, which makes you look like an alien. So then you can get it unwired. The one I gave you is the Oculus Rift. That's still wired, and that's kind of not great, is it?
I don't have a problem with it, but I'm a lot easier to please. Apparently.
Ant snapped it up at my biannual Leo's Garage sale.
Quickly.
Good. I'm glad you got it. In which I take everything I don't want anymore. You know what's going to be in the garage sale next week? Or I don't know if it'll be next week. Next time. The Surface Duo.
I'll be there.
Giving it up.
Actually, let me take a break and then we'll talk about it because it is an Android device, so I guess it's appropriate. I've been talking about it on All About Android and on Windows Weekly because it's Microsoft's first product based on something other than a Microsoft operating system. This is Android. And you know what? The hardware is gorgeous.
You know, I didn't have an issue with the split screen the way you did. I think it's going to have some good uses down the road.
Before I send it back, because I think you have 60 days to return it. So before I send it back, I'll let you borrow it. Okay.
Roger that. So
I'm going to do it.
I was going to say, Kevin actually, he wrote about one because he got one too, and he actually really enjoys it. He's been calling me on it and playing on it.
There's a lot to say for it. Actually, instead of doing the ad, I'll do it as long as we got started. The hardware is amazing. I mean, it's beautiful, super thin. This is 5 millimeters, so even together, it's 10 millimeters. Yeah. It's thinner than most phones. The battery life is spectacular. It goes all day, no problem. It's got a fingerprint reader on the side that works quite well, and it does some really cool things. So the idea is, and they don't call it a phone, I think they're right not to. It's really a dual screen small or pocket computer. That's really what it is. Right. With some capabilities to do phone calls. You can make phone calls. You can put a SIM in it. And because it has a very poor camera, and I think a lot of people today buy a smartphone because they want the camera. This is not only it's a bad camera experience because there's only one lens. It's right here. It's right here on the phone. When you turn on the camera, it starts in selfie mode. And then to get it in camera mode, let's see if I can get it to work. You close it. Oops, I pressed the wrong button.
Little clunky UI, huh?
Well, no, it's actually, it's just I'm not used to the form factor, right?
Oh, right.
You close it. Hey, it worked. And then it turns into a camera. It's just not a great camera. Yeah, it's not a great camera.
Actually, we did, he and I meet, Kevin and I were on Meet, and the camera actually looked
perfect for that.
Pretty good.
No, it's perfect for that. So they don't even want to say it's a phone. It's not a camera. It's a Meet camera or a Skype camera, a Duo camera. It's fine.
Good enough to do that job.
Great. And because the form factor, I'm sure Kevin did this. It's a little laptop, and so you can do this. You can watch TV that way. It has a really interesting feature, which is to take advantage of the dual screens. You can create folders of 2 apps that work side by side. So this one is my chess group. So when I launch that, I get my chess book and running on Kindle on one side, and I get my little chess program on the other side to do the moves. And that is actually a really nice combination. Kindle it's a great book reader. I'm sure Kevin noted this because let me see if I can, the software's a little, I'd say it's not great. It's a little bit clunky. So to get this to a 2-screen, I have to drag it up, drag it to the middle, then like this. But now, well, it's not working right.
Yeah, that was a little rough.
Well, but it's supposed to be like a 2-page book, but now for some reason it's spread over. I guess it must be a setting that I have to fix in the Kindle book. But that's kind of cool. And it's like a little book that you might read on the, here's my little chapbook.
Well, and I will say what Kevin said that I thought was pretty smart. He was like, I don't think you should think of it as a phone.
Right.
It's a small computer. It makes calls. He's like, yeah. And of it as a small tablet, and he's really loving it because he can get side-by-side apps.
And see, I agree with that perspective of being a smaller tablet, because the only thing that I thought about was opening up Lightroom on it and looking at my assets and things like that, or opening up Premiere Rush and going through and editing content that way. The last thing that crossed my mind was answering a phone call on it or sending a text.
Who uses their phone that much for phones anymore? I'll tell you why you're not going to want to do that, Ant. Let me open the Photos app and if I move it to 2 screens, so I have a photo. Can you do the over the shoulder? Do you have that, John, or no? Yeah. So I have a photo. Now I can make it 2 screens. Any app can be done with, but this hinge hides part of the picture. You see that?
Yeah.
So you don't see the whole picture. Now it's nice, but it's not as it doesn't have to, because it's 2 screens. The software could say, well, this ends here and starts there.
Oh, I see.
But for some reason, it treats it as a single screen, which means it occludes whatever's under the hinge, which is a little weird.
Because otherwise it would look, well, I'm going to justify. Otherwise it would look wacky because it would look like the if you had a human being, they might get 6 inches taller if they're lying down.
I guess. I mean, but look at a map, for instance. And Google has, by the way, just updated their maps to work with this phone. And that part of it is going to be Microsoft polishing the software in Android, but part of it's also going to be third parties getting their stuff to work a little bit better. So Google, apparently, they say, oh, no, we've made but the map still hides stuff. See, let me hide Lagunitas. See, now you can't see it.
Okay.
See, it says
No, I mean.
Right? So that's
but there's nothing there. So, of course, that's not going to show it.
But there is something there.
I mean.
There is something there. It's hiding what's under the hinge. So I'm just saying what it could do is what we would do here.
Is divide it.
It's divide it. It's 2 screens. So
okay.
if I put you half of you in that screen and half of you in this screen, your head would be divided in half, but it would end there and start here. It wouldn't be hidden by the gap.
There's a difference.
So I don't understand why they chose to do that. But you're right, Stacey. Maybe they had some good reason for it. And I just thought
Kevin. I just have to tell you, okay.
Kevin loves it.
Well, no, Kevin is sharing things. Apparently, he popped online, so he explains his article tells you how to make the camera mode switch work.
Okay.
And he's also saying that yes, app developers have to optimize their apps to use the dual screens. But this isn't a Microsoft's problem.
No.
The way to do that is going to be part of Android 11.
Okay.
Well, dual screens are built into Android. They have been since Android 10.
Since Fold.
Yeah. But this is this is...
But those folds had a contiguous screen, though, right?
Yeah. That's the big difference, right? And let me be clear that gap is not a showstopper by any means.
If the things that are awkward were fixed, do you get the concept of using a hardware?
There's some
like
advantage to using a big screen that folds up. I think the Fold might be a better. I don't know. So here's the problem.
Does it replace a tablet?
No, because of that gap and because the software isn't. So here's the thing: you close it. And now you have a very funny shaped phone. You have a 3x2 phone. So it's kind of
that we can get around.
You get around. But I think a lot of the objections to it were from people who said, well, it's not like any other phone. They were used to how it worked on other things. And so that is part of it. The software is a little janky, I have to say. The software is
well, of course it's. I mean, it's the first product, and these aren't. This isn't like Apple, and even Apple didn't have. I mean, it had a lot of software, but it took them a whole year to get that out after the first iPhone.
I have to say, the hardware is spectacular. The hardware, except for the camera, the hardware is really beautiful. It's elegantly done. It's just gorgeous. Great screens. Go ahead.
What does this replace in your bag? So I'm traveling. Normally, I travel with a phone, a Kindle, and a computer.
Kindle.
Or MacBook
Replaces the Kindle.
This replaces your Kindle.
You can't get rid of your phone. For instance, when it's closed, if I get a notification, I have no idea. There's no indicator at all on it.
That does not bother me at all.
Yeah. Some people that doesn't bother. Some people that does. The fingerprint reader works quite well. I think it's a little book-like computer is what it really is. And it's really good for the Kindle. It's great. If what you want to do is read books, I think you'd be very happy with it. There's there's glitches. There's hesitation and stuff.
Once you played with it, I want to hear what because whenever I look at I'm like, is this additive to my bag of gadgets? Because I really don't need any more.
I think you'd still need a phone is what I think. That's kind of the part of the problem is I don't think it's a phone. This is.
I also just want to see how it fits in my hands too.
Well, you have big hands. It's a little awkward. It's not comfortable to hold this way all the time. If I were on an airplane and I had it on the seat, that'd be great. Look how the books look, though. This is great. Can you do the overview of the show? This is really
nice.
This is really like.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
this is like
that's nice.
You're reading a book. It's just like it, and the screen is very crisp.
When you say phone, are you talking about like texting and talking? Because like if I'm imagining everybody has Bluetooth headsets in it.
Yeah, if you have Bluetooth headset. I've made phone calls on this and just use it with a speaker, which is fine. You can hold it to your head. It's not awful. It's not bad.
I don't ever hold my phone to my head anymore.
Right.
Like
Who
ever.
does that? So you have earbuds. There's no headphone jack, so you'd have to use Bluetooth earbuds. I think the camera is the biggest downfall. There's no NFC, so you can't use touch to pay. There's no wireless charging. I can live with that. It's not waterproof. It's the 855 Snapdragon, last year's Snapdragon. I think some of the issues, the hesitation and stuff and the freezing might be because it's an older Snapdragon, but I bet you Microsoft,
that's right.
Yeah, I bet you Microsoft can optimize it. It's just come out, so there'll be.
You need your glob.
Updates.
You need your glob.
This is a glob. This is the glob.
No, it's not a glob. Your glob would be whatever screen you want. A glob would be an unseen thing.
A glob would be whatever you. It's like a Chromebook on anywhere that pops up a screen, or a Chrome your Google account everywhere.
I do like the dual screen, so I can this is a TV dual screen. So I have in one screen I have YouTube TV, and the other screen I have a browser. And if I turn it, I can watch the TV. The accelerometer is a little sticky. I have to do it like this.
Well, see, now I want to accept the challenge of trying out that camera, because I had the OnePlus Nord from Mr. Howell and played around with it, and I was able to pull out some decent shots with it. It's not the best camera, but it was still quite serviceable, and so I'd like to see if this would be the same thing.
Even you, I don't think, are going to get a great. Let me take a picture of. Let's see. Here's a picture of the set, and I'll do a quick picture. Let's see. It's got portrait mode. It's got slow mo. It's got video. It's got panorama. I don't know. This isn't a very well lit. I just feel like even you are going to have a hard time getting a great image out of this. No, I'll put it on the big screen as soon as Photos syncs, because you're going to want to see more detail. Now I'm getting error loading message. I don't know what's going on, and it's not responding. See, this happens a lot. There's just these moments when it just goes, I don't know. What do you want?
Processor, just like you said.
What do you want? Nothing's launching.
This is hard.
Nothing's launching. You see that? Nothing's happened. This works.
Okay, when you keep punching when it's trying to launch, that's not going to help.
Oh, really?
It's like,
should I just let it go?
I always find, like, give it a minute.
Oh, there. Yeah, now something's launching. This is cool. So if you have a Microsoft program and you go dual screen with it, some of the not all, but some of the Microsoft programs, this is OneNote, will be smart about the screen, and that's what everything should do. So you see, here's the note index over here. Same thing with email. It'll show the list of emails and then the content over there. That's kind of nice, right?
Yep.
And how long have you had it?
Since last Thursday, almost a week.
Since it ain't been very long.
No, it's pretty new. But I've really.
I would love come back in like a couple weeks and tell it, because like
that's keep using it.
This is so new. I think you should use it for longer. I'm sorry. Or give it to Aunt to use it. I feel like with new form factors, it's really tough to. But
you nailed it. That's the hardest thing, because you have expectations, and this is not. And
you don't know what you're going to do it with yet.
Right.
A lot of times.
Well, but you kind of know what you want a phone to do, don't you?
Well, I'm going to confess.
But if you had told me when the iPhone launched that I would want my phone to be my own camera, I would have been like, crazy man.
Right.
So things also.
So here is an example of the hinge failing me. See, I want to play this game, and it says,
"Oh, look at that."
Yeah.
So that's not. On the other hand, it's kind of nice to have the game this big.
I don't think they ever plan for you to do things across the screen.
No.
As one image. You'd never watch a show that way.
But I think that's the decision.
Never look at a photo that way.
That's also a decision in the hardware. Because couldn't the hardware just say the screen ends there and starts there?
No, you see, you're trying to make it do something that it shouldn't do.
All right.
I'm going to confess something here which will shock some people. Remember when on the show I did the reboxing of the iPad?
Yeah.
Because my complaint was that it wasn't a good creation tool. At the time, it wasn't. It was only a consumption tool, right? But Apple caught up to the desire to turn it into a creation tool.
And that's
so
fair.
Stacey's point is right that when a new form factor comes out, even the company that makes it may not know what all.
Oh, that's always the case, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true with software too. Look at Twitter. That's morphed quite a bit from. They thought it was going to be a analog for text messaging.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, I'm in the bar.
Oh, those bros. They know what they want. Let's take a little teeny weeny break-orino, and we will continue on in just a bit. Jeff Jarvis, the City University of New York, buzzmachine.com. I feel like you should be a judge, like an appeals court justice.
I was going to go to law school. That was my original plan when I went to Claremont.
Oh.
And I decided pretty quickly that saying yes, Your Honor, was not something I was built to do.
No, but see, if you're the judge, they say yes, Your Honor to you.
Yeah, but you got, well, no, I also might say F you to the people I don't like, so it's not going to work out either.
So that's what judges get to do. They are gods in their own courtroom. Judge Jeff Jarvis, that's what I'm going to call him from now on. Judge Jeff. Stacey Higginbotham is also here from StaceyOnIoT.com. Get that newsletter. It's free and it's fabulous. And, of course, she and Kevin do a great podcast. Kevin Toffel, the IoT show. And Mr. Ant Pruitt from Hands On Photography, Hands On Wellness, our beloved Ant Pruitt. So good to see all three of you. Our show today brought to you by ZipRecruiter. There's a lot to think about these days if you're an employer. Tell me about it. Hiring can be challenging, especially when you have to think about enforcing social distancing, supplying masks. But when you need to fill a post, you need to fill a post. Monica Starks could relate. She needed to hire for a pivotal role at her construction company, the GS Group. She was just having a hard time finding the right person during quarantine. So she switched to ZipRecruiter. And honestly, I have to say, we've used it for years. It really does make hiring easier. One of the keys is ZipRecruiter's technology will actually identify people with the right experience for your job and actively invite them to apply. You really should try ZipRecruiter. It's free right now, ZipRecruiter.com/TWiG. They also make it easy because when you post on ZipRecruiter, the job listing goes out to 100+ sites, including social networks. All of the applicants roll into the ZipRecruiter interface where it's easy to rank them. You could screen them with questions and pick the right person fast. That's how Monica found Lamont Jenkins. She said ZipRecruiter sent Lamont's profile to her 5 minutes after she posted the job because he was a perfect match for the role. See, ZipRecruiter has hundreds of thousands of active resumes. People go there to apply. So they look through them, obviously with AI, and find the right person for the job. Then invite them to apply, and that's how Lamont started working for GS Group. ZipRecruiter does this so well, by the way, that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate in the first day. Last time we used it, we posted at breakfast. We got a slew of great candidates before lunch. ZipRecruiter is the way to hire. They make the whole process more efficient and more effective. I think you're going to love it, but the best way to find out is to try it for yourself. The minute you need to fill a post, and by the way, thank you, because God knows we need more jobs out there. If you're one of those golden people who's hiring, go to ZipRecruiter.com/TWiG and try it for free. ZipRecruiter.com/TWiG. ZipRecruiter is the smartest way to hire, and I will vouch for that. ZipRecruiter.com/TWiG.
So we're doing TikTok now because it got funnier.
It gets funnier by the minute.
It gets even funnier by the minute.
So Sunday, Microsoft started the avalanche of news saying, yeah, we lost the bid. And then Oracle at first refused to comment. And then they said, well, it's not that we won the bid. There were only 2 companies, as far as we know, bidding, Microsoft, Walmart, Oracle. When Microsoft said, TikTok has informed us they don't want us, Oracle said, yeah, they don't want us either, but we're going to be their technology partner. Their hope was the president would accept it if the database was run by Oracle, a U.S. company. But TikTok would still be a Chinese company, but they wanted to create a U.S. subsidiary.
And they'd be the majority shareholder. ByteDance would still own the majority.
Still own the majority. They're not selling it.
Right.
But Oracle, and by the way, Walmart switched tables, said, oh, we'll be in on this bid too, because I think they want the e-commerce side. So the question now is, will the White House accept it? They made the deadline. They announced it on Sunday.
That's the next punchline.
Uh-oh.
So the first thing that happened was Republican senators went after Trump and said, led by Cruz, and said they're against the deal because China is still involved, and China apparently has cooties.
So they don't like this deal. That includes Marco Rubio, Tom Tillis, Roger Wicker, Rick Scott, Dan Sullivan, John Cornyn, your favorite, Stacey. Okay.
So that was the next chapter, and then a few minutes ago, Trump was at the podium saying that he's going to get updated on the deal tomorrow and decide whether he signs it.
I have to sign it like it's a bill.
Yeah.
This man, his ego it knows no bounds.
He may still scotch the deal.
Ultimately, who really does weigh in on this is CFIUS, right? The Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States. They are as far as I know, the only governmental body, besides I guess Congress could scotch it, that could say no, this isn't a good deal.
Isn't that only if other companies want to acquire companies, or is it when U.S. companies want to acquire foreign companies? Does CFIUS work both ways?
Oh, you're right. It doesn't. But if Oracle is a partner and it's China, yeah, you're right. It's if China wanted to buy Oracle.
Oracle makes ByteDance even richer. Oracle invests in the company.
Right.
That's really what's happening.
But
so
Oracle
the other thing
also,
is
they're going to host on Oracle's imaginary cloud.
Right. Exactly. Well said. And the other thing is that I can't find the quote, but he apparently said something like, "Oh, I found out that we can't make money in the Treasury from this." He just discovered that.
Incidentally, Alex Stamos weighed in. He's the former Yahoo and Facebook security guy, well-respected in the security community. He's been helping Zoom. He said a deal where Oracle takes over hosting without source code and significant operational changes would not address any of the legitimate concerns about TikTok. And then he had to throw in a little elbow shot. The White House accepting such a deal would demonstrate that this exercise was pure grift. So here he even posted a beautiful is that a Venn diagram? Okay.
That's still I think a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Yep, still a Venn.
So TikTok and other PRC-owned apps, that's a little bit of an overstatement. PRC doesn't own it, but and other PRC-owned apps pose a serious risk to the United States. That's one circle. The U.S. needs a federal data protection framework that is both more effective and less disruptive than GDPR. That's another point of view. It is racist to conflate the actions of the People's Republic of China and the Chinese Communist Party with the Chinese people, students, immigrants, or Chinese Americans. That's another point of view. The current president's obvious anger at First Amendment protected speech on TikTok makes this situation more complicated. That's another point of view.
That's mine.
The president unilaterally banning an app without due process is un-American and echoes the Great Firewall. And then in the middle, you can be here. All of the above. How do we get that? How do we get that to all reconcile? Now, what will happen? Any prediction from the Ant? You're in the dark and blurry.
Sorry.
Oh.
Is it a little hot over there?
It was for a second. Trying to get the focus.
It's all right. This is the, I think somebody put Vaseline on Ant's.
And you're the one person who doesn't need a pretty
It's because
filter.
Ant was too pretty. That's the problem.
This is the glitch show, I guess.
That's all right. You could talk without, I like the blurry.
Okay.
I like
I was going to
just
ask
pretend you're in the shower, Ant.
a little bit off of the subject, but I'm looking at this story. And I wanted to ask you all personally, like if you have some conservatives in your own personal circle, with all of this stuff going on about the TikTok acquisition and the threats and so forth, what are the conservatives in your circle saying about this?
I ain't gonna wear no mask.
I can't imagine.
My conservative circle
They don't
is
care.
Not,
they're not on the.
No,
they're not.
I don't care about
this.
TikTok at all.
No,
not at all.
Okay.
Is that your point, Ant? Yeah, I agree. No.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll watch with interest as the world it's a real soap opera.
World turns.
As the world turns, These are the days of our lives.
Is that still on?
No, I think all of them
Nothing's
are gone.
on now.
Yeah, all the soap operas are over. No, wait a minute. One of them started taping again.
Really?
Yeah. In a socially, you know what they're doing? When one of the actors has to make out with another actor for the show, they quickly swap out the other actor for the original actor's significant other.
You serious?
Yeah. They make out. They show only like the back of their heads. They make out. Then they quick cut and they put the actress back in or the actor back in.
1980 all over again.
What if a gay actor is playing a straight character?
But then they don't get to kiss. That's a really great question. I don't know what you do.
Star White.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't know.
They've probably done the permutations and commutations of it. So
yeah. This is from.
So there's lots of Amazon news today.
All right, let's do some Amazon news.
Yeah.
Amazon planning to open up 1,000 neighborhood delivery hubs to get closer and closer. Pretty soon, they're going to have a store on everybody's front yard.
But that gains you nothing because you still have to drive a truck from delivery hub to delivery hub.
I know. I don't get it either. It's just speed. It's about speed.
Well,
you have fewer hubs than you have places.
Well, you can also use machine learning. Well, there's not a pandemic, swapping out demand suddenly to like figure out what people locally need and want more often and stock those things. No?
Yes. You can offer more things for immediate delivery. When I go on to order and it knows where I am, it can say, you can have this now. Working with newspapers and getting them to do commerce, one thing we found very clearly is that Prime markedly increases the click-through to a commerce offer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, but I have to say, any convenience does. So on Apple, because if I have Apple Pay button, or if I see a Google Pay button, or an Amazon, anything that makes it so I don't have to fill out a form and put in a credit card number, completely reduces the friction. Those are going to be dominant players. I could see now why Apple created Apple Pay. And COVID's been very, very good to Apple because, of course, the Apple Watch was a touchless payment system.
Everything's touchless.
Apple just announced Fitness Plus, which is going to be touchless fitness. This is going to be part of their new Apple One bundle. You pay $10 a month. You wear the Apple Watch. Your numbers are projected on your Apple TV screen, as are the workout, the fitness cruise. It's kind of like a Peloton, except it's live, but it's not just a bicycle. There's yoga, there's weightlifting, there's rowing, there's bicycles. I think Apple is going to score big on this because nobody wants to go. You're not going to the gym, are you, Ant?
I can't, sir.
Right.
But I hate that I can't. It's driving me a little bit crazy.
So there's going to be, I think that's going to be a mess. Peloton, which does the same thing, but only with spin. Actually, now they have a treadmill too.
No, they have a treadmill, they have a spin thing, but they also have classes where you have yoga and stuff.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. My bike is in the way. I have to climb over it. But they always say after I do that, because I have a Peloton, after I do the spin class, they say, and now stick around for the cool down, warm up stretch class or whatever. And it's like, I just bicycled 48 miles. I am done.
Done so.
You take that class.
Oh,
that's why you're
you
sore.
should do the stretching.
Do the cool down, man. You got to do the cool down.
I'll tell you, I cool down in the hot tub. That's where I'm cooling down.
Haven't you watched Hands on Wellness on TWiT TV?
I know, I did.
twit.tv/how?
I know. You should be my
So, Leo,
trainer.
when are you gonna rebrand TWiT?
To what? TWiT Plus? Good Lord. Did you see that CBS All Access is going to become Paramount Plus?
Yeah.
You said yesterday on Mac Break Weekly that Apple pretty much is making the Plus, the big branding way to go. And I had to argue with you, but I was off the mic.
Okay, you
what
get
about
to do
Google?
It now.
Google
Plus. They invented
that
Plus.
Was first.
But they spelled it out. They didn't they? Or did they not? No, that was a plus sign.
It was a plus symbol.
You're right. Google Plus.
Yeah, it was.
Give them their due.
Apple's doing for I what they used to, or Plus what they used to do for I. People just have short memories.
How about TikTok Plus now with more Oracle?
I think just cut everything down. It's I plus. Everything is just
Everything's
I
just plus. How about plus plus?
I plus. It's going to be an I or an E and a plus.
How about TWiT Pro?
Wins.
TWiT Pro. We'll do TWiT Pro. 1 plus.
But you could do the TWiT luxury version, which is what Amazon is going to do.
Oh, what's Amazon going to do?
Amazon is opening up luxury stores where you have to be invited.
Oh,
Spend a
please.
fortune.
I can't wait for my invite. I am so excited.
So how much do I have to spend on Amazon to get an invite?
I think you need to buy luxury goods. It's designed for like luxury brands to meet people who would buy their stuff.
Exactly.
Although if I'm going to buy something from a luxury brand.
Do you think I'll meet Kim
not buying
Kardashian if I go?
She's not luxury.
Will Paris Hilton be there? She's luxury. Are you kidding?
I was in this business. Believe it or not, I was in this business when I was at Condé.
The luxury
We started
business?
Style.com. Yes, we started Style.com. And the idea was we said, we create demand. Now we need to be able to fulfill it. We want that piece of the business. Because we were Condé Nast, we could get designers that even Neiman Marcus couldn't get. So we did a deal with Neiman Marcus where they gave us a ready to buy, open to buy, I mean, and that was a budget. And then our people would go to the designers and pick the items, and then Neiman Marcus would stock them, and Neiman Marcus would fulfill it. And this was an idea where we were going to be suddenly, as a magazine, we're going to be a retailer at a very high end because we were going to give the designers comfort to be there. What happened? Crash. So then Neiman Marcus said, we don't really want to share revenue with anybody because we barely have enough. But what they did was the site stayed exactly the same. The consumer wouldn't know a difference. The business model changed. No longer, It was just now advertising. We sent them a customer, and they paid for the space basically, and that's how it works. So it reverted to the mean. But there's been efforts. I remember when Sephora opened, the cosmetics brands were way against it because they had all their special things, special counters and special this and special that until they find out it sells. And they were way against online sales. They had to have Condé Nast come in to make them comfortable. Well, now Neiman Marcus and Lord & Taylor are bankrupt.
Right.
And people aren't going to stores.
Right.
So Amazon's stepping in at just the right moment here and to give them an exclusivity to make them comfy.
So
it
will be a physical brick and mortar store, though.
No.
Oh, it's not.
It's part of the app. No, it's just part of the app.
It's in the app.
It's just going to add functionality.
Yeah, it's part of the app.
So Amazon's been playing with this invite thing. They did do this they did it with the dash buttons. They do it now with the Halo band. You have to request.
This is different.
The permission to buy from the great Amazon.
Leo, you and I aren't getting in on this. Stacy might, but we're not.
Yeah. So.
And I'm not sure.
I spent thousands, tens of thousands on. Well, not now. It's sad. I have so much money left over from not buying crazy outfits for speaking.
No. So they're not going to come to me because all they see is the guy that's buying probiotics for his dog and packs of socks. And
oh, you're wearing the sucker hat. We're inviting you. So the interactive features will begin rolling out with select garments at a launch, allowing customers to explore styles in 360-degree detail so they can visualize fit, and making shopping for luxury easier and more engaging. They're going to launch with Oscar de la Renta. Is Oscar de la Renta still luxury?
It depends on he's got a brand, but some of his clothes or some of the clothes designed by that brand are like multi-thousands of dollars.
Is he couture though? He's not couture still.
No.
Is he?
I don't buy Oscar de la Renta, but
it feels like that's kind of an older brand, to be honest with you.
It's like a Pierre Cardin. Well, hold on. Neiman Marcus, Oscar de la Renta coat here. First thing comes up, $20,996.50.
Okay. It's expensive, but is it good? I like the Verge headline here. Amazon launches luxury store to separate the hoi polloi from the haute couture. Which are you, hoi polloi or haute couture?
Oh, very hoi.
I think most people are both. I mean, like I buy Amazon Basics tank tops and I buy Amazon Basic.
What
else I buy?
Stacy, what's your most expensive dress?
Gotta get.
Does Andrew know?
It's. Oh yeah, I have some Carolyn Is it Carolina? Carolyn Herrera.
Oh, Herrera.
Wrists.
Yeah. Those are beautiful, actually. I like her.
They're beautiful. Yes.
Yeah.
And
What's your most expensive suit?
I have. Let me think. I buy like one suit of a decade, but my tuxedo I think is Dunhill or something. It was expensive, maybe $1,000.
And what's your most expensive T-shirt?
Maybe $25. And I didn't want to pay that. $10 and we could talk.
It could be Haute Couture or Haute
I used to have the protective coloration when I worked at Condé.
Yes, you probably had to look like Anna Wintour. Did you have a bob?
I never pulled it off well. I was still
this whole luxury thing for Amazon is a little confusing to me, but I guess it's just showing the change of times with all of the COVID stuff now. Because when I think about the shopping in the luxury stores, it was an experience. It was something that came along with actually going in there and getting that particular service right there in person, and the way they spoke with you and the way the whole transaction went. It's not as satisfying versus pulling it up on the app, hitting send.
I've seen you wear this Carolina Herrera raglan maxi dress. I think I've seen you wear that. Haven't you?
You know what? I realized. I think my most expensive item is actually like an LaCrOS.
I can totally see Stacy in this.
She can pull it off. She can pull it off. Yes,
work it.
Even the model doesn't look too happy about this. So Kim Kardashian is going to stand up against hate. She's going to freeze her Facebook and Instagram accounts for a day.
Just for a day.
Well, that's going to.
One day. She's going to join 24 celebrities in temporarily freezing their Instagram and Facebook accounts on Wednesday.
That'll teach them.
Yeah. And then the next day, her posts are going to be 1.5 million per endorsement instead of 1 million.
She tweets, I love Facebook. I love that I can connect directly with you through Instagram and Facebook. But I just can't sit by and stay silent while these platforms continue to allow the spreading of hate, propaganda, and misinformation created by groups to sow division and split America apart. I'll miss you all day Wednesday.
That's some bull. Show me a sacrifice, Kardashian. Show me a real sacrifice.
Well, given that she has...
She's married to Kanye.
Yeah, that's a sacrifice.
Bless her heart.
She's got 100.
Bless his heart.
That's got to be difficult.
She's got 188 million followers on Instagram, so she's the 7th most followed account. It's bringing attention to the hashtag Stop Hate for Profit campaign, but it's taking one day off. Just destroy your account. They're giving up the show. What does she need to be on Instagram for? She's already rich.
Up the show because she can make more revenue off of her social freaking media.
Maybe.
This is not a sacrifice.
No, you're right. She's actually really funding these operations. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll give up my Facebook and Instagram. How about that?
You do that, sir.
Amazon is offering $1,000 signing bonus.
That's a little weird because they're paying $15 an hour in most of those places, correct? That they're offering those jobs.
Yeah.
And $1,000 signing bonus is really good, but you still think about the history of Amazon for those positions in the warehouse and things like that. That $15 an hour still seems a bit low, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, what about Stripe?
100,000 people.
Yeah. I mean, at least they're hiring.
Yeah, at least they're hiring, but it's still, and don't get me wrong, I do understand a business trying to keep overhead at bay, but you're Amazon. You can afford more than $15 an hour. It certainly looks like
the brand. It affects the brand. Today is their virtual hiring fair.
Yep.
And they had
I gotta go, y'all.
not only are you going there, Stacey?
You want to be a picker?
Stacey, you're worth more than $15 an hour.
Be a picker?
Just so you know.
How about this one?
My time in the warehouse, I don't know. I would do it. I actually want to be a Starbucks barista. That's my.
Oh yeah.
That's my.
You know what? My daughter's having so much fun working at Trader Joe's. I think you'd enjoy that.
Probably.
Yeah, you go out in the.
Because I love customer service.
She likes it. She loves it because she loves people. So she's really having fun.
Is she bringing some cacio e pepe home?
I bet she better. Actually, she's coming over Friday. I was going to say, bring some cacio e pepe.
They also have, just not to confuse things, they also have cacio e pepe ravioli.
Oh, that sounds even better.
Well, no, it's not better. It's good. It's fine. It's just ravioli. It's fine.
It's just ravioli. This is spaghetti.
Exactly.
That's just ravioli.
As Jammer B is rolling his eyes right now.
He literally is.
Jammer B,
you
I'm
know
so
him
disappointed.
so well.
So disappointed. I thought I had an ally. Find out.
What about, you know about Stripe, right? The company Stripe, they're the online payment site. They are offering a $20,000 bonus to workers who move, but then you get a 10% pay cut. What if you move out of San Francisco to New York or Seattle, which will save you a lot of money if you move to the right place? Don't move to New York from San Francisco. That's not worth it. But if you're moving to somewhere, in Idaho or somewhere, you'll save money on rent, but they're going to take 10% off your salary. What do you think of that? That feels, I wouldn't do.
You probably in the long run, you're going to be, given the cost of living in San Francisco,
you'll still be ahead.
You're going to make money. You're going to make money.
Ahead.
Yeah. You're better off.
I just feel like a company pays you for the work you do. It doesn't matter where you do it. What do you think, Stacey?
Well, no, you do. So having worked for places not in high cost cities for a really long time, I will say that I never was paid less. Sorry. At a certain point, it becomes what you're worth, and you're worth what you're worth no matter where you are.
Right.
And for those companies, it was worth it. Now, I will say, if a company is gaining an advantage from having a virtual workforce, then they shouldn't be cutting people's cost of living. Or
they
shouldn't be cutting people's salaries.
Right.
But I will say, though, a couple things. When I left New York, when I wasn't there, my company subsidized our MTA, our Metro cards. Do they still have Metro cards? I don't even know.
Oh yeah,
but
they do.
Now you can use your iPhone, right, or your Apple Watch. Yeah.
So advantage, right? So I lost some advantages by not being in the place. So there were things, but if they had tried to cut my salary, that would have been insulting because, they paid crap anyway, even though I was living in New York because I was in journalism. So I don't know. Maybe they should structure it better. Like you get a bonus if you have to move to San Francisco to buy your house or whatnot. And maybe you don't get that if you move to Idaho.
Right. But if you're renting, it goes on forever. You're in San Francisco. It's wildly expensive. I'm not sure what to do. I think you're right.
But then there are costs. There are things you pay for. There are advantages that aren't part of your salary if you live in the place. Like you get your free lunch, you get, free dry cleaning, you get, subsidized transit that other people in other places don't get. I pay for my air conditioning bills, even though it's a lower cost of living because they don't have to, heat and cool a space for me.
Colleague of mine at my school, the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism, is moving to New York, but she can't. But she's in Canada, and she said the other day that she's got I think there's a room she would have rented out, but now she has to use it as the place where she teaches class. And when she moves to New York, if we're virtual, then she has to get a bigger apartment in New York, which is really expensive. Mm-hmm. So this virtual thing does cut both ways. Well, since you mentioned Stripe, can I give a plug here?
Yes.
Kate Lee, who was my wonderful agent to Select Business, is in charge of publishing there. They do really neat books. This one just came out of interest. The Making and Maintenance of Open Source Software by Nadia Egbal. And this books they do are very, very cool, very good. So I just wanted to give a little quick plug for that.
Nice. I've been on the side of the hiring part for looking at salaries, where company I worked for, we were trying to beef up the development team. But we also had the option of having people local to the facility or working remote. And now these people were doing the same task. They're on the same project or whatever. So the pay scale was pretty much even, except it changed depending upon where those people were residing. Because, say like Alexandria, Virginia, the cost of living there is going to be way more expensive than, I don't know, say Portland, Maine, something like that. So that had to be part of the negotiation, even though they're still going to be doing the same job. But the pitch to them was like, we got to try to, keep up with your cost of living in your area too. So I get it from sort of both sides of the spectrum, but at the same time, if the company is going to somehow still make money off of you, I don't like the idea of pay cuts.
Yeah, you should never cut someone's pay unless you have to as a business because it's otherwise untenable. I mean, they're going to free up real estate. Those costs are going to go down to their employees. And, I'm like, you shouldn't cut.
So put it another way.
Well, and then there's also the other end of the spectrum where maybe these companies have the leases that have some tremendous buyout clauses that's going to cost them a lot of money, even though they're not there, shut down because of COVID or whatever, they're still having that extra expense of trying to get out of that lease or keep the lease going. Who knows?
But that's what you do when you're a business. If you're not struggling, you don't optimize your operational costs at the expense of your employee base unless you have to. It should be the way we work, but that's not the way we work.
But Stacey does a different model here. If you're a government employee and you're working for the State Department and they move you to Paris, you're given a cost of living expense to be in Paris versus being in Nairobi, right? And when you leave Paris and go to Nairobi, you're going to lose that money because that was earmarked for the cost of living there.
Right.
Which is a better way to do it conceptually. The problem is, we're going to hire you in San Francisco. Here's the rate we pay in San Francisco. Oh, we're moving you to Chicago? Well, now you're going to get a pay cut is the way it seems. Versus, here's the rate we pay for everybody for doing this work, no matter what. But if we require you to live in certain markets, we give you an adjustment while you're there. Would be a better way to have set it up long ago, but they didn't. So now they're trying to change into something that doesn't make any sense. So they make people pissed off.
And they should, they really should eat those costs because it's not like people stay at these companies forever. So, and, being a tech company, when these people are like 45, they'll just lay them off anyway.
I like to say that I am not people. Prior to coming to TWiT, I worked at a company where I was there for a little over a year. It was almost 2 years, I think. But prior to that, I was at the company for 16 years. So I'm not people. I like to stay. I'm loyal.
Good man.
All right.
You better stay. I got a 16-pound brisket with your name on it. You better stay.
I was like, I don't know where this is going. I really feel like Ant is people, but
You're
maybe
people.
he's not.
You're people. You're not that kind
I'm
of
not
people. You're not that kind of people. There's a new American Girl doll. I know, Stacey,
Really?
yes, and you're going to like it. It's girl power. She's a Pac-Man champion. Comes with a working arcade cabinet. It's 80s gamer girl doll.
I was about to say she looks like I did when I was in elementary school.
Isn't that cute?
Great.
With the denim skirt, the pink tights, the leg warmers, crimped hair.
I think her hair is crimped.
Yep.
Oh my God, I had hair that was crimped.
Is that a chapstick on a string around your neck, or what is that? What is that you wear? Is it a lip gloss? Probably lip gloss, right?
Is that a Walkman?
Yeah, probably.
She's got a Walkman.
Wet
Look
and
at that.
Wild was the, that's adorable.
Dude.
The Wet and Wild, yep. So for people who don't know, and obviously a few of us do, American Girl is kind of cool. It's a doll series where the dolls represent young girls in different points in the American history. So it's kind of fun. My daughter was so into it. I know your daughter is, Stacey. So
she was. She's
she
over
outgrown it now, I guess.
As was ours.
Yeah, they outgrow it, I guess.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, it's too bad. Then you're stuck with a bunch of dolls.
Nope, sell them on eBay.
Yeah, that's actually most of them I got on eBay.
Oh, I'd be shot. Oh no.
No, you have to keep them?
Yeah.
Is her bedroom exactly as it was when she left?
Do you charge her storage because?
My wife likes to get rid of a lot of things.
Yeah.
She would love to do my bookcases, that kind of stuff. But there's other things that just have a certain sentimental value that don't go.
Her name is Courtney Moore. She grew up in California's San Fernando Valley. She's Go ahead.
It should be Stacy. Because Stacy or Jennifer are the most 80s names.
Yeah,
or Jackie, I guess.
Yeah. She and her stepsister.
There are no Stacys outside of that era.
She and her stepsister.
Is Stacy short for anything?
Some people are Anastasia.
Oh, okay.
Eustasia.
Stacyanopolis. She's a total 80s girl whose favorite place is Smiley's Arcade because she loves playing video games. Courtney likes being in control of what happens, which isn't always the case in real life. She and her stepsister Tina don't always get along. And now that Courtney's mom is running for mayor, things are changing at home. It's a whole new game for Courtney, and she's figuring out the rules as she goes. And, by the way, they're tying it into a scholarship. The American Girls teaming with Girls Who Code, a nonprofit mission to close the gender gap in technology, to offer $5,000 scholarships to girls to help further their education in computer science or a related field. So good on you. I always liked American Girl. This is great. That's really great. Good for her. She's from 1986.
I like Luciana was 2 years ago. She came with all these cool things like a rover.
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
But that's okay.
And then they have a book.
Luciana Vega.
Yeah, then they have a book. Here she is, Courtney, 1986, changes the game. There she is in her Pac-Man, with her Pac-Man game. Oh, those aren't leg warmers. Those are those boots with the open. Yeah, it's so funny. It's so cute. Let's do the changelog. John, you got the music? You got the drummers ready? Get the horns. Let's go.
The Google changelog.
New stuff from the Google Duo is now available on Android TV. You won't find it in the launcher yet, and it only half works. It's not fully functional. But that's good. It's coming. If your TV,
so is it even available?
We really kind of stretched the word available here. You could sideload it maybe. I don't know. You can't receive calls. You can't place calls. No, you can. You can install it and make calls. Keep your eye peeled. It's coming. Of course, you have to have a TV with a camera, but I think a lot of TVs do. Google Meet has added the largest grid known to man, 7x7, a 49-person grid view. If you're in that meeting, I am so sorry. I am so sorry.
Wow.
I don't even know what you would do in that meeting. Jeff, so you probably have more than that in your
boxes all in a row.
Yeah, ticky tack. You have more than that in your classes, but they're not all on screen.
Oh, I don't have that. No, we're small.
Oh, you're small.
We're small and intimate. No. The social journalism was 16 students. But I was
my intro to journalisms were 500, so I probably could use it.
Yikes. How many of those people are still working in journalism? That's my question.
Well, it included our PR people too. So my actual J school
they went
classes,
to the dark side.
They were
the dark side.
The dark side. Waze has added lane guidance. Maps, one of the best features in Google Maps, knowing, get in the second lane from the left now is very
That's been popular on Google Maps for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
why it took Waze time to get it, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a huge.
Of course, I have not used Waze since March.
Yeah, who has? You don't need it anymore. Yeah. You were a religious Waze user.
Oh, yes.
Kevin Toffel had the story. ChromeOS 85 has quietly added AI-based handwriting recognition to some Chromebooks.
Fool it. It'll never get me, man.
This is something you got an iPad now with iOS 14, which came out today. iPad OS 14. They call it Scribble, where you have a little box you write in and it translates it into text. Still, this was always kind of for some reason, the holy grail of computing. My handwriting is degenerated to the point where you definitely couldn't read it. I type everything. Doesn't everybody just type it?
Worse.
Who wants to write? Who is writing?
I still write notes every day for my task or what have you, but it still looks bad when I look at my little.
Both Aunt and Stacy think. Maybe that's the problem. I never.
Wow. It'll stop when you get older, believe us.
Yeah.
You won't bother anymore.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens. Google can now scan malicious files for advanced protection users. So Google Advanced Protection is intended for people in politics, public figures, people who would be at higher risk of being hacked online. You have to use physical hardware keys to log in. There's some limits on what your account could do. And they're going to add a new feature today. Those enrolled will be able to send files that Advanced Protection suspects are malicious to be scanned in full by Google's safe browsing malware detection technology. So it's kind of like an antivirus scanning your files, your emails. That's a good feature. I bet you Google's scans are pretty reliable.
I would bet.
Did you know this? The Google Home app has a new presence sensing feature. It can sense.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah. It can. So let me see how this works. It uses Google's AI smarts to determine whether or not people are home based on their device activity. Now, Nest has always done that simply by your phone
with an
joining
actual sensor.
The network. But this, does it have an actual sensor? No, it's just your phone can be used.
I was thinking of your Nest thermostat. Sorry.
Yeah,
when you
that's
said
right.
Nest, I was thinking
Nest thermostat does
Sorry.
see you, right? That's right. It knows there's no
has
people
PIR.
moving around. But with the Nest cameras, you could say only turn on the cameras when I'm not here, and it does that through your phone. This is different. This is different. But if you have home and away routines, or you want to set up home and away routines, you can do that. So I think that's, for instance, here after everyone's away, do this to the lights, lock the door, do all of that. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, NetAtmo has had that for years. And when Nest introduced their cameras and their home and away stuff on the Nest Alarm, I was like, why aren't you using presence detection to automatically set this? And they're like, because we have other focuses right now. But eventually.
They got around to it. You'll need version
2.28
2.28 of the Google Home app. It's coming as usual. They roll it out a bit at a time. And you can now share your screen in Google Duo.
It's the only other person on earth using it.
My daughter and I Duo.
Just this week, I had 5 more of my contacts pop up on Duo.
Nice.
Wow.
5.
Duo,
what
maybe.
If we use Duo for Stacy now? Would it work better?
It's a slow burn. You want to try Duo next?
There we go. I've got it.
And that's.
But then you're. Oh, sorry. I was like, but then you're stuck on
Themis
my
interruptus.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And that's your Google Changelog. Coming up next, it's our picks of the week. Why don't you start us with the pick of the week this week, Aunt Pruitt?
Some other news. We talked about Nvidia and ARM, but I don't think we mentioned CNET in that acquisition.
You used to work for Tech Republic. Now, it's not clear. Is Tech Republic one of the companies?
I didn't see them listed in that acquisition as one of the properties. But
it's funny because I had Ed Bott, who works for ZDNet, and Bill Detweiler, who's your former boss at Tech Republic, on TWiT on Sunday. And I said, I hear CNET's for sale and Red Ventures might buy them. Zip.
Yep, not a word.
So they might have known. But I would actually like to ask Bill if Tech Republic went, but everything else did. This was part of CBS Viacom. They acquired a bunch of stuff. They've been slowly selling off bits and pieces of it. They bought CNET for $3.2 billion. That's my memory. Sold it for half $1 billion.
Yeah.
4 years later. So
it happens.
It happens. But I was talking to Mary Jo Foley about this because she works for ZDNet. So many of the people on our shows work for CNET or ZDNet, which is the same thing in one way or another.
Yeah.
But it sounds like this would actually be a good thing. This is a company, CBS Viacom is a massive conglomerate.
And B2B focus,
Yeah.
but also very marketing focused. I think there's probably some concern there about that.
Right.
So how long did you write for CNET or Tech Republic?
Tech Republic, I think it was 3 years.
Well, that's a long time in this business.
I think it was 3 years.
Yeah.
But I wanted to share this article. And this was back when I think it was 2012.
Yep.
And I was writing for your friend, Miss Gina Smith.
Oh, yeah.
On her website. And it was the first thing that I had published. And it got picked up by ZDNet, and it just blew my confidence out the water. Mr. Jason Heiner saw it and linked to it on ZDNet, and it just really made my head big, and just, it was great. And I just knew I want to keep doing that because I wanted to keep chasing that feeling.
Was this your first published piece?
The Windows 8 article was.
Nice.
But now you can't find it because I guess the blog is down, but I said I'd never forget that.
That's cool. That's cool, and I think this is going to be good for Tech Republic and ZDNet and the crew. I hope this will be a good owner. They own a bunch of other consumer blogs and stuff, and this will be their first tech venture. So I think this is a good thing. I, of course, have worked for both CNET and ZDNet back in the day, and when I worked for ZDTV, we went through 4 owners in about 5 years. So Mary Jo said this is the 4th company to own her, or ZDNet. So yeah, everybody's worked for CNET at one point or another. It's the Luxottica of tech. No, that's not true. That's not true. Jeff Jarvis, do you have a number for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull something that I put it in at the top of the other. Bessemer Ventures decided, for God knows what reason, to put up their investment memos for a bunch of their investments over time, which I found really interesting.
So Bessemer's a venture capital fund. So these are the memos they wrote before they invested, or
as they were investing. So if you go, for example, like to Twitch.
Okay.
We recommend that they invest $13 million in Twitch, formerly known as Justin TV, at $53 million pre-money. Data-driven resourcing efforts to give us an early indicator of the company's growth position. So that's what I picked a bad one. Here. There are more interesting ones.
But this is, if you were a startup or you were thinking about becoming a startup, this would actually be really interesting to read.
Exactly.
What made a venture capital fund sink money into you? What was it that they saw, or at least what was it that the memo writer decided to highlight?
So this is a good one. Yelp is a San Francisco-based early-stage, quotes, Web 2.0 Yellow Pages company. It was first launched with $1 million raised angel funding from Max Levchin at formerly CTO of PayPal. Founders, 2 people who worked for him. They spent less than half the capital. We had the opportunity to lead the company's first venture financing with a $5 million one-handed investment at a $13 million pre-money valuation. This is the part that I enjoyed. I've been tracking the company for several months, was planning to propose an investment and bring them into a presentation next week. However, Business Week named Yelp the top services company on the internet ahead of Craigslist in their latest issue, which hits the newsstands on Friday. Therefore, I tried to preempt Yelp's financing plans with a term sheet last week and agreed to terms with the company over the weekend.
Oh, shoot. This must be a partner.
Venture capital.
This is a partner, because if he could write a term sheet, sight unseen, buy it. Nice. Yeah, sometimes you have to jump on it.
There's a bunch of ones here that are kind of fun to read through, and that's
well. And if you look at the portfolio for Bessemer, these are pretty good investments: Shopify, Wix, PagerDuty.
Bessemer is also famous for publishing every year a memo on the deals that got away.
Oh,
so they publish deals that they saw and they passed on, which I always thought was kind of fun. I don't know if they still do it, but they used to do it in the early and mid aughts. So,
is this the anti-portfolio?
Yeah,
honoring the companies we missed. Airbnb, Apple, Atlassian, eBay, Facebook, FedEx, Google, Intel, Intuit,
they missed
Kayak,
some good ones.
Okta, never heard of that one. PayPal, Snap, Tesla, and Zoom. So that's gutsy of them.
Can I do a number 2? I actually have way too many picks, but I'll do a number, then we'll let Stacy do. But given that you're talking about high finance, how about $8 billion? This guy, Chuck Feeney.
Should we do a Karnak? Here? Again?
$8 billion. This guy, Chuck Feeney, founded the duty-free shops.
Oh, wow.
Outstanding.
And made $8 billion. It has been his goal. He's the guy who inspired Warren Buffett and Bill Gates to do their foundation work. It was his goal to give it all away in his lifetime. He created the foundation as the Atlantic Philanthropies. At one point, it had offices all over the world, 300 employees. Day before yesterday, he finished. He kept $2 million for himself and his wife. He's in his 80s, just to live on. Gave away $8 billion.
All right.
To some amazing causes, including Cornell University, which you went to on the GI Bill. It's really a great story.
Philanthropy was pretty amazing. I knew somebody important who worked there, and then one day his job was gone because the money was almost gone at that point.
There's a great picture of Chuck and his wife signing the papers on Monday to dissolve it.
Wow.
It's over. And man, this is what billionaires should do. Okay? This is what they should do. You don't make money in a vacuum. You make money because society supported you. And he gave back to Cornell, but he also gave to a lot of really great causes. And I gotta commend him for that. Stacey, what's your thing this week?
Well, so I wanted to offer an update from a thing a couple weeks ago. So wanted to do that. Firewalla Gold. I think I told y'all about that. Kevin got the review unit. And man, if y'all are like, we talked about network segmentation last week. This is a device that would actually help you do this in addition to provide a VPN, constant network awareness.
This is an Indiegogo.
This is an Indiegogo. So if you go to our site, you'll see Kevin's review.
Okay.
Oh, or there you go.
There's the Indiegogo.
So you can get it early still for $409, I think. It's expensive.
$419.
But you can.
So it's a little hardware box with built-in stuff.
It's super powerful, and you can actually run containers on it. So if you wanted, you could run your home bridge on this or Home Assistant. Mine will show. I don't remember. So yeah, if you want the review, Kevin wrote that up. And then my other thing, crap, I had it. Now I've forgotten it. Oh my God.
So this isn't their first Firewalla. They did a couple earlier. I think you mentioned this.
Yeah, I had a blue one. Yeah, this was the update because I had told y'all about the Firewalla Gold. And then I was like, and Kevin's going to review it. And lo and behold, he has now reviewed it, and it is good.
Did he review it on About Chromebooks or on your site?
He reviewed it on Stacey and I.
Okay. Sorry,
this is me. This is pushing my site.
I think you should. Did he like it?
Your audience will like this gadget. Yeah, he loved it. He sold me on one. I just went and bought one today.
Oh, I'd like to hear your experience setting it up.
You just plug it in. Man.
Really? It's just plug and play? No, you got to set. This got to be work for this. This has got to be work.
Read Kevin C. He said it was pretty easy.
Yeah. Wow.
He said it was pretty plug and play.
No, nice.
That's what I'm like. They make a lot of very difficult to use features easy to use.
Easy.
And as someone with a wacky network plus an interest in seeing where all my packets go, I'm like, heck yeah, I want this device. Okay. Crap. I totally forgot what my thing was, and I'm going to remember when we hang up, and it's going to be so sad.
How often have I said that? Oh, okay.
I remember.
Yes. Actually, I always forget where my thing is, so it's a little different. Okay, go ahead.
I was looking for my physical cue, and I was like, where is it? I don't see anything, but it's because
wait a minute. You know what? This Firewalla Gold would actually be good for what we were talking about last week for network segmentation of your IoT devices. Because
I swear to God, I just said that.
Did you say that? But wait a minute, Stacey. Did you know this would be good for the network segmentation? See, there it is, your IoT network. Oh, I'm getting this. That's good. Did you just say that, really?
She did.
I'm busy typing stuff in. I don't.
Thank you,
I'm trying to find pictures.
Stacey, I used to be on KGO with Ron Owens.
Would he do that to you?
We were talking with each other, right? and he starts something going about what do you think what the president did today? And let's hear from Stacy in Washington, and hits a button, and Stacy's talking away, and then he just tunes it out and starts talking to me for 5 minutes.
Yep.
And then he would occasionally he put his hand up and he'd just turn the mic back on and say, "Why do you say that?" Turn the mic back off. Turn the conversation with me. I was
the secrets of the radio stars, my friend.
Yeah, so he's never paying attention.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, really, Stacy? That'd be good for network segmentation. That'd be great. You could use that for Really? I'm sorry, Stacy. I'm
going to say something mean about Facebook, and I got 5 minutes by it because Jarvis is going to go off, and that's fine. That's what'll happen. Yeah.
Actually, I used to do Ron all the time too. That we have something in common. I was his regular tech guy, a legend in
whatever
San Francisco.
If the lights, I took it as personal. If the phone lines wouldn't start jamming up.
Yeah.
So whenever I got to that point where I was desperate, I'd just say, you can't get a decent pizza in San Francisco, and boom.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Oh yeah. So let me ask Stacy though one more time. Would this be good for network segmentation?
I think it would, like we were talking about last week. Okay.
I'm just worried that it'll be too complicated for my little brain.
No, it's really not. It's not. Or I'll tell you again next week. But Kevin says it's not, and Kevin actually does. I know he's smart and adept at things, but he's also aware of normals. So, you can read Kevin's review because it is expensive. But I feel like people who play with their networks and value these things, this is actually not a crazy thing. And tons of horsepower, although it gets hot, he says, because there's no fan. Okay, so don't stick it in the closet, y'all. Okay, here's my actual new thing, because that was just an update to a thing that I promised I'd tell y'all about.
Yes.
I did a list of things that you can use that are not IFT in response to IFT going pro for people who don't want to. And the two apps that we talked about Zapier, but the two apps that I wanted to remind everybody exist. One is an app called Yonomi, Yonomi, and that will actually put that on your phone. It auto discovers things on your network, and it actually suggests recipes that work, but you can also build recipes or routines. And that's free. The other option is a company called Olisto, Olisto. This is a European company. They're, instead of applets, they call it TWiGs. And they actually let you do more things to trigger your events. And they have a fairly wide list of devices that you can set up your TWiGs for. And if you're a SmartThings user, it's going to be great for you because they support SmartThings. They support Philips Hue, Somfy, Sonos, a lot of European brands like, is it Miele? I don't know. Fancy home appliances.
Yeah.
Nuki, that's a lock company in Europe. They support TP-Link. They say they support Nest. I don't actually believe them because Google Nest thing, but they support Netatmo and LaCrOS. Cool stuff.
I was just wondering about the segmentation issue on that firewall.
I was going to say, that will not help you with network segmentation.
He was laser focused, man.
All right, I got a lot of picks, but I'll do a couple here. First of all, I forgot to mention this on TWiT. I'll have to make it up to Cory because I was going to mention this on TWiT on Sunday. Cory Doctorow, who was on TWiT 2 weeks ago, is one of my favorite people in the world. Super smart EFF competition guy. He's responsible for a lot of great novels and nonfiction works. You may know Little Brother, which is a great book about privacy and about modern technology. The third in the Little Brother book is coming out, and Cory is dead set against copy protection. So he decided he doesn't offer his books on Audible because they insist on copy protection. He doesn't offer them on, I don't know if he offers them on Kindle or not, but he decided to do a Kickstarter for the third of these books, Attack Surface, which is coming out pretty darn soon. It succeeds Little Brother and Homeland with
major production value. He hired actors for it.
Oh, he hired a star to do the reading, which he says I use the same producer Audible uses. I mean, he decided to do a really good job about this with this. I love Cory. I think he's super talented. 20 years at EFF. You remember he was one of the founders of Boing Boing. His current blog is at pluralistic.net. But if you want to support Cory and his plan to create a great audiobook without having to make it, copy protected, his goal was to raise $7,000. He's already raised $195,000. But there's 3 weeks to go, as he well deserves. There's 2 weeks to go on this Kickstarter, but I think getting the audiobook of Little Brother, and by the way, you could
for only $15.
Yeah, you can pledge. $15 and get
more. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good deal, and you also get the ebook, I think, as well, and then Amber Benson's version of this. Audiobook 15, audiobook and ebook is 25. So that's one plug. And another plug, our friend Baratunde has a new podcast. Baratunde is going to be on TWiT on Sunday, but his new podcast is called How to Citizen.
Oh, I saw this. I'm excited by this.
Yeah, he's the greatest.
He is a sweet guy, smart guy. He wrote How to Be Black. He's been on our shows for many years, and I just think it's well worth. You can see the trailer. But if you just go to baratunde.com, baratunde.com, you can find his podcast. Yeah, isn't he great? How to Citizen reimagines the word citizen as a verb and reminds us how to wield our collective power. Now's the time to stand up instead of, as I often do, despairing or giving up or just going, I can't take it. It's time maybe to get activated, and he'll help us do that. So, a couple of plugs for dear friends who've been regulars on TWiT, and I wanted to give them good plugs. Now, though, I'm looking for some way to segregate my IoT network from my main network. I'm wondering if Stacy has anything that might do that.
She probably knows.
Stacy Higginbotham, she knows everything. She's the smartest person I know. She's at StacyOnIoT.com, at GigaStacy on the Twitter. She does the podcast with Kevin Toffel, the IoT podcast. And someday we're going to get her Gigabit, and man, you will be blown away by how.
You may just be Skype hating me.
Yeah, I don't know. Zoom looked great, but then Skype sounded bad again, and I don't know.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
I don't know what to do.
You just have to move, Stacey.
I'm not here next week, so you don't have to. It's one less week of me.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Are you doing an event, something that we should tell the world about?
Oh, you know what? I lied to you. It's not next week. I'm a week ahead of myself.
You just scared,
no, I'm not doing my event.
The pants off Karsten.
Sorry, Karsten. Sorry.
No,
sorry.
She will be here next week, Karsten. Don't worry.
I don't want to get this vision of Karsten without pants. Stop doing that.
I'm pretty sure he's not wearing them now. The Leonard Tao. That's the Leonard Tao Professor for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. He is Judge Jeff Jarvis, the citizen's jurist.
Order in the court.
I'm going to send you a gavel. You need a gavel. He's at...
Stacey's wants
Wait
one
a
on
minute.
top of your head.
Stacey will not be here next week, according to Karsten. Baratunde will be here next week.
Yay!
Oh, you are leveling
No
up,
offense to you, but yay.
Hey, yeah.
I get to see
how come Baratunde is never on when I'm on? He's one of my heroes, man.
So, Karsten, I got it wrong. Baratunde's not going to be on TWiT. He's going to be on TWiG.
I was wondering. I saw it on the schedule, and I was worried that we.
Yeah,
we were
that's
him.
good.
Yeah, no, that's good.
That's good.
It's great.
Yeah.
I love Baratunde.
Yay.
Yeah,
Yay, that'll be
right.
fun. So even if you could be here, Stacey, you really shouldn't.
Stay home, Stacey.
No, actually, I will make you this offer. We'll just put another TV screen on the stage, and you can all be here. We'll just widen the shot, baby. Do we have enough inputs to do that, right? Burke's going, I don't know.
Maybe.
He's like, no,
I don't
stop.
know. I don't know. Actually, our TriCaster's starting to break down. Yeah, we could do it. I don't need an over-the-head shot. Yeah.
No,
or
it's
Baratunde
okay.
could be over
Y'all-
my head. Hey, Baratunde, what do you think? Thank you, Jeff Jarvis. Thank you, Stacy. Aunt Pruitt. Don't forget hands-on photography, hands-on wellness. twit.tv/hop and twit.tv/how. And it's great to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody, if you want to watch us do this silly thing live, you can. We're on twit.tv/live. That's our live audio and video streams. You can tune in. It's usually around, we try to get about 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. That's 2100 UTC of a Wednesday afternoon or evening. Come on by. Come on by. Watch us do the show. If you're doing that, your fingers are up to it, join us in the chat room, irc.twit.tv. You can also get on-demand versions of the show, audio or video from our website, twit.tv/TWiG. We are, of course, on YouTube. There's a whole YouTube channel devoted to TWiG. But the easiest thing to do is go to the main TWiT channel and find a link there. That's youtube.com/TWiT. And I think probably all of you by now have a podcast app, Pocket Cast or Overcast or Stitcher or Slacker or Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts, one of those. You can find the show there. Press the subscribe button. It won't cost you anything. You'll get it every week the minute it's available. It's not a notification. It just appears. It's even better than that. Don't forget, we are also on the Amazon Flash Briefing page. If you listen to a Flash Briefing, you can add TWiT to each day's Flash Briefing on your Amazon Echo device. I listen. It's a lot of fun. You should too. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll see you next time on TWiG. Bye-bye.
I'm Jason Howell, host of Hands on Android, where each week I take a look at the Android operating system and really dive deep into what it can do for you and how it can improve your quality of life, whether it be tips and tricks on how to use it better, whether it can be little-known secrets that open up a world of possibilities. So many topics to dive into, including your emails. Subscribe by going to twit.tv/HOA. We'll see you there.